everyone, welcome to another episode of the Immortal Cast. Today we have the one and only coming here into the stream, LaurethUK. It is a master of Necromancer, and we're gonna speak mainly about Necromancer, the state of the game, things that maybe we'd like to see change. It's 2024, early into the year. So first, thank you for coming. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm not too bad. I've had a day off work, so it's been a good day. But the news that we got when we logged in this morning as a Necromancer was pretty terrible. So,
Yeah,
but other than that,
so
yeah, good.
today the new patches came, and Laurent and his Necro friends were having a lot of fun with these broken builds, right? With the new site and doing a lot of damage, and pretty much like driving me crazy in the PvP. But now I think everything is getting settled. So let's start with that. We can start with the buffs, nerfs. Every class keeps like going up and down, but it seems that Necromancer, it is one of the few that is still maintains like on top pretty much all the time. But you are the day one player, I assume, or the
Yeah,
so
day one. Yeah.
tell me a bit about the story, how like this has developed, how what is like the strength and weakness of Necromancer, and why it's still like always like a stronger class.
I just think with Necro, it's when we first started out with the game, I think it was very much a support class, especially in PvP. You was blocking off areas so people couldn't get to, they couldn't go down the lanes. But people didn't like the support side of it. They wanted to go full out damage, but it just wasn't possible back then. And I
Yeah,
think
what a
now as the
surprise.
game's progressed more, we have got some of them builds. Um, and now we've got a tank build as well, which is even better. And I think you was having a lot of fun with the
Yeah.
Golem build today. And yeah, that being a new build, it's still good, but it's still a support role. Damage rolls really come in when you do get at a higher resonance level, as you found when you first went over to Necromancer the last time, and you found it quite difficult as a kind of a free-to-play Necromancer to get the kills. I think some people do pull it off, but it is a very difficult playstyle because you are diving in trying to get the kills from kind of people doing other damage as well.
Yeah,
I think
I feel like my experience whenever I tried, I went like without expectations. I had played like in the past, but only mainly the PvE. And definitely the Vortex build, like the learning curve was quite interesting. And like I felt like I could try to get better. Also, there is like a bunch of requirements that you needed to have, like the rate form, terror affixes, and all these things. But in general, 100%, that doesn't matter what is the class is, as long as you have to dive into the melee, into the action. As a free to play, most of the times you don't have like the the HP and just the defensive stats to pull it up, but definitely there are some pretty skilled necromancers right there that probably
oh,
have
for
like
sure.
way more hours than me. And also there's like that evasion build that is like popping off.
Oh, that's mad. I haven't ever bothered to go and forgetting all the evasion gear, but I've seen people using it, and it is absolutely insane. I think the only downside to Necromancer, especially as a free to play, is the fact that you don't have that extra kind of damage reduction that melee characters do.
So they don't
They don't.
compared to, they don't have, because
Nope.
only barbarian, crusader, and
Yeah,
there's a monk probably also.
I
um
believe Monk does.
yeah, tempest also. So I mean, like, do you think like that's something that they should correct?
Possibly. Maybe it wouldn't be right to go straight to the level of, say, a melee character. But as we do play in melee quite a lot, maybe giving us some sort of defense on our base, just like a melee class. You don't want to make it too unfair because we can go ranged. But if you are in melee, perhaps having some sort of buff that activates to have you take less damage, maybe.
I definitely, I feel like you already have the rate form, so if you put like a something like that, I think it will be like extremely hard to kill them. Definitely, if you never tried like the evasion build, I will say like you could try, like if you give it a shot, because I feel like it's definitely breaks the pretty much any build or any class that right now in PvP can pull up like the evasion rate. rating. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, like in the Eraban, you have all these affixes with like resistance that gives like extra shields. You also have the endurance that is gonna give like evasion rate. Whenever you evade, you get the shield. The shield's gonna give you some damage reduction. So it makes it like extremely tanky, even for free to play. So let me ask you something. What is your resonance right now?
Max resonance, I'm thinking about 3,700.
Okay. So you're like the low spender kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would say low spender. I wouldn't. I've been trying to push it a little bit higher, trying to get to the 4K to get them next wings, but I think I'm still a bit off of that.
I mean, is there anything that you see? Because I am a free to play, but I have my reasons too. I want to ask you, like, you are a low spender, obviously, like probably because you feel comfortable. Is there anything that the game could have done or do over the times to make you feel like you could want to spend more money?
Um, that's a difficult question. I think the fact about spending money in the game once you get to a level, and I suppose around that kind of 3,000, 4,000 mark, you start to realize how much it does actually cost. And I think
Mm,
that's when you start to slow down. And I think that is a negative side. You know, you don't want to slow down because you still want to try and progress and get higher resonance, even as a low spender. But you do just hit a brick wall. Trying to get to that 4,000 residents now, I do need to have like another 5-star within my setup. I'm only running with 3 most of the time. Do need to go for a 4th, and then I should be able to push it. But to try and get that 4th will cost. Yeah, I don't even want to do the maths.
yeah. That's where people just start saying that it just costs like I get like a few, because even though I do like free to play content, like I have like a few whales or people that, you know, they will like to spend more money, but they just like start looking at it and it's like, man, it's just like too expensive. And the barrier of entry also now, like if you just start the game a few months ago and you want to just go like to the top, it is also very complicated because like you have people that have been spending like thousands and thousands over the years. Also maybe they exploit like the all the Susan, you know, like the plat thing and all these
Yeah.
orbs, and maybe they got it cheaper. So definitely if you want to start the game and you want to go for the whale, like we're talking about like a few hundred thousand in your
Yeah.
case, like pounds, just for what, you know, like just to be stronger in PvP. But it seems like you're also like not like very into PvP, or am I wrong?
I get to legend every season.
Okay.
And then I slow down, you know? I think it gets to that point and I'm just like, "Well, I've got my stones now, that's fine."
Yeah. No, if you're a casual or like a very casual person, like, and you not like a huge PvP enjoyer, you're 100% right. You get to legend, you can get there. I'm not gonna say easy, but definitely easier now because you have the bots all the way from like bronze, silver,
Yeah, definitely.
and the gold is like the hard grind, and then you just pop like a build, a PvP build that you see on the YouTube, and most likely you're gonna get it over time. And the Reforge stones, it is something that now they're pushing another Reforge loadout, but I don't know what
Yeah.
to do with it. You know, we just don't have the stones. Like, why is the stones like Reforge stones like still since the start of the game like these rare? Because like, it's
Oh, for
like,
sure. Yeah, yeah, it's terrible. They need to, like, for me, the stones have always been linked to PvP. You get a couple from kind of the battle pass, a few from the Hills Trader, never enough to really make the difference if you do, unless you do PvP. And some people just want a PvE. Why haven't they ever added in a mode where you can get the stones from doing? That's why I mentioned in the chat earlier, maybe Vanguard, you know, throwing some stones in there so people can get that reward each week. So they get more. Especially
yeah.
now we've got a third loadout. You know, the third loadout, I personally think that can be used as just like testing things, you know, going in there and just testing. You got your 2 main loadouts, one for PvP, one for PvE, and then the other one can just be having a laugh, seeing what works, seeing what don't work. But then you do need the stones to test that.
Yeah, I feel like for example, you're talking about the Vanguard, but I think I was thinking the first thing popped in my head is like hidden layers now, right? They are the dead
Yeah.
contents, you know,
Mhm.
and maybe you could do like I don't know, 5-10 hidden layers per week, and the final boss will give you like some Reforge stones. Maybe some people will actually hate this idea because it will kind of force you to start running hidden layers again, but definitely trying to pick up like some dead content on the game, maybe some world bosses. You do like 3 world bosses and the first 3 kills. Like I'm talking about like the guy in the cemetery. There's like the other big monster that keeps walking with like
Yeah.
the caravan. And like there's like these very cool like world events I would like to see more. And so talking about like
Everyone used to do them world events, and it doesn't seem to be anymore that people bother.
no, because like I don't think it's like worth your time, you know.
Oh,
It's not like really everyone just scaled to a point that you know, probably it is easier for you to get like those golden dust and all these things just by doing a few circles for like 3 or 4 minutes than spending
yeah.
like 10-15 minutes like doing that after you did the achievement. There's no, or like get like those stones for the legacy of Oradrin in the beginning of the game, then you pretty much like don't need to do like any of that content. I think is a shame because
It is.
I really enjoyed it. I think like the other day I was on the stream, I like was the caravan was passing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like it's been like 1 year since I did like this content, and I really enjoy. But going back like to Necro and like this world thing, let's talk a bit about lazy farming.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's not like I slept on it, but I was never like a big like I just wanted to play the game and I wanted to try to get like to gear rank 30, and I still think like if you play actively it is faster to get the gear than AFK farming. But definitely like over the inferno difficulties, and now that I have a stronger character, now it feels like with the nuances we are unlocking like these very powerful builds to a point that you always have a golem, like a big golem all the time with you.
Yep.
You have like these skeleton mages. They just like whenever they attack, it's like these multiple rays that will just tag the mobs. It is pretty crazy. So I kind of wanna, as a Necro like since day one, what is your thoughts like about lazy farming? Not only for Necro specific, but like how do you think it affects like the whole game in general?
It never used to be a thing. There used to just be kind of solo farming where you used to go stand on the ship maybe with your summons out. Lazy farming really is only just, I'd say, taken off in the last, say, 6 months, especially in the area that you know wherever all the necromancers are going to be, where you met me the other morning.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is normally at least probably 20 up there sometimes, and sometimes more in different zones as well, different difficulties. They're always full. I think it is a negative, don't get me wrong. But I think everyone's got to the point now where they know that in the game. It's going to be a thing, and I think if Blizzard were ever going to do anything about it, and same with NetEase, I think they would have done by now. So I
Yeah,
think
but you
maybe
think like it's a
embrace it.
positive? Do you think it's a positive or negative in general for the game?
In general, I would say negative for the game, 100%.
Mhm. Yeah,
You? What would be your opinion?
I feel like it depends on my mood. But when I'm Necro, it's like, man, this kind of nice.
It is nice
um,
to do. Don't get me wrong. You can just
yeah,
sit there. You put your character on. You just stand there attacking stuff
yeah, it
every
is.
5-10 minutes. Check on it. Go hand in your bestiary, and you're done.
Yeah, it is. I feel like it is broken. You know, compared to other
Yeah.
classes, the other classes, the only way you can actually just do the same thing is like, or you have a macro, or you're gonna do like something like against the DOS to actually be able to pull that up. But Necro, you can just do it normally. I feel like in general, like I'm with you. I'm because I'm my takes usually I'm always like pro like the being a legit gamer, you know. But you know,
Yeah.
like you get by playing and not trying to anything that I don't like exploits, I don't like cheating, I don't like things like they just feel wrong. But I
I would
also
agree
don't
with that.
yeah, I also don't judge like people that they do those things, right? Like it's like is your you do whatever you want. However, like I feel like sometimes it's it can feel like if you're not a necromancer, other people feel like maybe you are going around the world and see all these necromancers, and it can be like very annoying, like to deal with it. Personally, for me, I feel that at this stage, I don't think they can do anything, and it feels like you're saying that maybe they should embrace, and I think they did. I think they
Yeah.
at this stage they embraced it, because the way they are building like these nuances for Necromancer is completely 100% mainly for the, like, you don't really gonna use like a lot of, unless like there is a crazy build, which I don't see it happen. But if you like those certain instances that people found out, like you can have unlimited skeleton mages, and with the roar of the golem, and you have the golem all those 100% of time, it feels like very, very broken. There was
It
someone
does.
there
There's
was
not many builds that use it.
yeah, no, that's that's for sure.
Hmm.
Miles was asking for us, what is your opinion in the statement that secondary attributes values beat resonance values alone? Still valid?
100% it's still valid. Yeah.
Yeah,
The only downside to secondaries, and a friend of mine joined the game probably about 3 weeks ago, and he started Necromancer, never played the game. He's been into Diablo 4 for a long time since it came out. And he said, I'm going to come over and try Diablo more. I said, great. He said, I'm going to play my Necromancer. I enjoy that. So he leveled up to 60 very quickly.
yeah.
And he's now Paragon 700. He's managed to get there in 3 weeks. I think he did it in the first week and a half, to be honest. He was
By
mad leveling
playing
up.
or lazy farming?
By playing. He
All
was
right,
yeah, there was
good.
no lazy farming. But the trouble is now is he doesn't have high enough secondary stats to even do the higher difficulties, even though he's got the combat rating.
Yeah,
And he's just struggling. He's hit the brick wall. And this is the brick wall, what we've talked about before, that new players just suddenly stopped playing the game.
yeah. That's the part that I feel like veterans that they've been playing this game for very long, and like big whales, they lose the empathy or the perspective of what it's like to be a day one player, like very recently. And it's like people always think, oh, if we have a catch-up mechanic system for these secondaries or resonance, like they gonna, like, we spend so much money on these, like my account's gonna be devalued, like there's no way like they can. But the other side, it is like we keep like pushing all these difficulties, and PvP aside, like as you said, and well, oh, like you need like probably 3,800, like 4,000 like armor pen to like be at like the Infernal
Yeah.
5 difficulty. There is no way it's gonna get that in like the next like 6 months. So it
No.
means like day one, like one, like not day one players, but like if you're playing this game for like the past like 2-3 months, you're not nowhere near to have the substats to even go do the most simple PvE content of the game. Like you're gonna go into dungeons, yeah, you're gonna get clamped. You're gonna try to do raids. You may have the combat rate, but you don't do any damage. Even
No.
like whenever you try to do open world farming, you're gonna still struggle. So
And
this
that's
is
exactly what he's finding. And it's awful for him. It's he always messages me, he's like, what can I do? And I'm like, it's just down to your secondaries. You've got the gear, you've got the combat rating. It's just secondaries. I've pushed him through the raid, so he's got to that level. I've pushed him through doing challenge rifts, so he's done all that. It's just secondaries. If there was some sort of, like you say, catch-up mechanic for secondaries, even if it was just extra gems up to a certain level to help them boost
yeah.
to get to that point, maybe more new players would continue playing the game, and we wouldn't see a drastic drop in numbers every month because of these new players joining and then suddenly leaving.
Yeah, I think it's like very demoralizing, because you tell to your friend right now, yeah, you know what, the requirement for Inferno 5 secondaries, you're gonna have it in 6 months, and the guy's like, never mind, like I don't, like, most people just get like super discouraged, like from like just doing the base game, because if you tell him like, okay, maybe like in 3 or 6 months or even 1 year, like if you keep building your character, you're gonna be like good in PvP, maybe it can be like, okay, it's PvP, I can still play the normal game, but not even be able to do the normal game. It is quite annoying. And whenever like I'm saying like to have a catch up mechanic for secondaries, I'm absolutely not saying that you should catch up mechanics until like 8,000, 9,000 resonance. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
No.
like a minimum catch up mechanic, that the same way we are on the scraps and gold dust and all these things for these players on secondaries, so they can like in 1 or 2 months climb like very fast and still be able to enjoy the game, because you want to them to play the game, to enjoy the game. And maybe if you can like make it like that, they will have like in the first month or 2 months like around like 3,000, and then you can just like slow it down, you know, like, which is gonna be fine, but at least give them an opportunity for them to enjoy the game. I think that's
Yeah, I
100%
agree.
the requirement. Um, Agro is asking best way to make PvP better and more friendly for free to play. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a difficult question. Like, as a necro or is just in general?
I feel like it can be we can start with Necro and then go a bit more in general.
I suppose with necro, and I suppose this does go for general as well, is brackets, PvP brackets. I think that is the only way you're going to make it fair for free to play, especially on the journey up to legend. I can totally understand once you get to 3,500 rating, it's just open to everyone, just like obviously you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there needs to be some sort of bracket there, so these free to play players that are joining the game and they do start doing PvP, that they get some enjoyment out of it and just getting, instead of just getting like,
And not bots, right?
bulldozed, and not bots. 100%.
Yeah,
You're not going to learn
not
anything
bots.
from bots, are you?
Exactly. Like
No.
I feel like the bot idea, it is okay maybe for like the first 3 matches, but then I absolutely agree. Put them on the brackets. I think the bracket from like 0 resonance to 3,000, it is still too high. If you have like
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd
you're
agree.
gonna get obliterated, because like it's not only the resonance, right? We all know that I am 1,000 resonance, 1,500 now, but my secondaries are like around 4,000. So a new player that joins in is gonna be 2,000 secondaries and 400, 600
Yeah.
resonance. Not only that, he's not gonna have Reforge sets. He's not gonna have the substats. He's not gonna have all these things. I feel like the main reason why they don't do brackets, maybe because of like the lack of players, and maybe it will lead to like bigger queues. Lack of players, especially doing PvP. You know.
But how could they solve that? They could solve that by doing the increase in gems for lower players, keeping the players playing the game, and then them lower brackets would eventually fill up.
Yeah. Also, another idea could be having like a bit more damage reduction if like you are lowered on the resonance on so, but could lead to like a lot of like smurfing also. People will just
That
like
could. So do you mean something like if you're in a group that's got a higher overall resonance than what you are, you get some sort of damage reduction above the rest?
Yeah. So, for
Yeah.
example, if I'm in legend tier and I still want to enjoy PvP, I have to be like extremely careful, and I have to be like probably more skilled than the average person to just do even like a slight impact on it. So if the game will protect a bit more like the free to play player because like one mistake and you get like one shotted, right? Like it's
Yeah, of course.
like sometimes we're talking about like you get one dot, the dot is gonna proc the starfire shard and you're dead. You know,
Yeah.
it's that big of a damage like sometimes that comes out of these. So maybe like some damage reduction, the lower the resonance you have, so at least it's a bit more fair that you don't get
Would
like.
there be a would you want a cap to how much damage reduction they would put in?
I think so. There needs to be a cap, right? They cannot be like 90%. No, no. Otherwise, like, yeah, I'm gonna run like with 0 resonance into this legend, and I'm gonna be 99% damage reduction. You know?
What cap would be enough though? What, like 25%?
Yeah, around like 25. Maybe I can say even like 30% probably. Because
Just so you've got that little bit more of a chance to survive.
Yeah, so you can still like try to outplay sometimes, you know, to try
Yeah.
have a duel, to have I mean, like there are definitely some classes that are very good at dueling, which is, for example, Tempest is like one of the best classes at dueling, and if you're using like the Windwalk spec, you can do great, and you can do like still as a low resonance do a lot of damage, but you need to like play out of your mind, be super skilled to even have a chance to beat like a very strong web. But if you're on a wizard or you're like on a demon hunter or just like a squishy class, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I with the sight, one of the most annoying things that was for me was like I was playing demon hunter and there's this guy comes, sights me, goes back, runs to, and then I'm like, okay,
The
I guess I'm
funniest
gonna
thing with
run.
that
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
funniest
run
thing with
to.
that is when I was dead and I was like, I'd scythed a few people and I was dead, and then I'd be running back and I'd be getting kills. It was just ludicrous. It really was.
No, no, the time duration was insane.
Far, far too long.
It was like
Yeah.
20 seconds, you know, like
Yeah.
it was crazy. Like multiple times I had it happen. Like I ran to spawn, like from like 80% to 0, then I got the savior proc, then the savior end up, and then I get my gladiator. So whenever you are with demon hunter, for example, or the wizard, without savior or the gladiator, you're like very very vulnerable, and most of the times you're just gonna end up like making a small mistake. You're gonna got like especially like against like these tempests. These tempests are like breaker, like you know, like they have like all these dashes and they can very easily catch you up.
Yeah. Yeah. The trouble is,
um
the funniest part about it was like, it's throwing an essence, throwing your scythe out, and then someone was running away, and they're like, "What's going on here? I can't do anything. I can't
could you,
heal."
can I ask something, could you do damage to whales with this
Oh, I
still?
was doing damage to everyone. I was doing damage to everyone. Yeah.
God damn.
It was absolutely insane. Some of the in the Necro group that I've got on my Discord channel, we was posting up images, and they were like, 2K, 2.5K resonance, and they're getting like 30 kills and like 30 assists and like 3 deaths,
Yeah,
and they're over 3,500 rating.
Jesus. Nah, it was definitely I feel like I think like it is fine. I like okay, here's what I think. In every ARPGs, things are meant to be broken. You know, like players go out of their way to try to find out like these combinations of stats, substats, instance, like you know, we then you put these like so like we had multiple examples, like you have like the 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 build, like you have like audits coming up like with that resolve build, like you have like now this side. So people are I think it's nice that we have still a shot to try to break the game, but I also think
Yes.
it was nice that they let people having fun for like 1 week and then they nerfed it, you know, because like
Yeah.
I think like if this went for like 3 months,
It would
you
just
know,
it would just ruin the game. It would ruin the game.
yeah, it was very game
100%.
breaking. So I feel like there are some bugs or there are some things that I don't mind that they are slightly powerful, or and then maybe like later on they can adjust. For example, we're talking about monks, right? Monks, they were very good for like these past months. I guess like there was a bug inside like these answers that was creating for them to do a lot of damage with a helicopter build. So now
Wasn't
people
that
are
like a
like,
30% damage reduction or something like that I heard today?
yeah, so some players actually say that even got higher. So I don't know what it affects exactly. So I don't know if like if you're lowered resonance, you get like lowered damage reduction, and maybe if you're higher resonance, it's higher. But people like
Yeah.
on average like 30%, it is still very significant. But I still think that Monk was just like doing too much damage. I'm just like a bit I will not say upset, but I think like this nerf, it should only been for PvP. I don't think Monk needed like a nerf in PvE, you know? I feel
I'd
like
agree. I think PvE they were fine. PvP, it was got to the point where I think you probably noticed it in your alliance that everyone was just changing to monk.
yeah, like it's like this class, it's not like great in PvE in and
No.
it was doing good, you know? So I feel like whenever I see like these patch notes, I think like they should start definitely acknowledge and make nerfs mainly for PvP. I think like there was like a 6 months ago or something, there was a patch that they made like adjustments only for certain skills in PvP. But there was like the only patch that I saw that they did that. After that, it's like, oh, this is gonna apply everywhere. And I don't think that, for example, another example is, for example, the 𝙀𝙓 build, like the smashing build.
Yeah.
It was completely fine in PvE. It didn't need to have like a nerf on the cooldowns. Definitely on the PvP, I will agree. It was completely overpowered. Maybe
Yeah,
it's still overpowered
100%.
because it still does a lot of damage. But I think like for the health of like the game, they I know that probably I've been in development and in tech, so I know how much like the complexity will increase if you have like to split like these two things. Like the same skill in PvP works in one way, PvE works in another way. I
You
understand the
just open
complexity.
yourself up to a lot of bugs, don't you?
Yes, in like inconsistencies and all these
Yeah.
things. So as a development stand, I can have empathy that, you know, it's just easier for them to apply for everywhere. But as a player, I don't really care about that. You know, I care that the game, it is gonna be better in PvP, and for that I think like certain adjustments in certain skills will definitely make the game better. We're talking about like maybe reducing a bit the range of the chains, reducing a slightly bit of certain cooldowns. There's like a bunch of like tweak things that they could do to just like make the game feel slightly better.
What is the distance on chains?
What is the distance?
Because I
Like,
had someone mention this in one of my video comments. They were like, "So Necro has been nerfed now, so why not nerf the chains on barbs?" What is the distance? Because I've been pulled from like so far away.
okay, so here's how it works. The chains always have the same distance. So the same distance is more or less, imagine like you try to go for the primary attack with your long range.
Yeah.
So you see like your max range probably is gonna grab you. But if whenever the chains grab you and you kind of blink away or you start like running, if you
Yeah.
got caught by the chains here,
It's
but
still gonna take you.
yeah, it's still gonna push you from here to the barb. And that's where
Yeah.
people think that the range is like it pushed me from the base, you know, to the other base. And especially like, for example, with the classes like Tempest, that's where it gets like very ridiculous, because like sometimes like you are near the idol, there is a barb, and then you dash away and you dash again, and all of a sudden you get pushed like back to the idol and you don't have cooldowns to dash anymore. Like there are some weird interactions that happen, and that's why people get annoyed. But it has to do with whenever the chains hit you, you were in this position, and
Yeah.
and then just like this kind of like delay, and that happens on the animations. It's not like the first game that I see that this happens. It happens
No,
like
no.
in other games, like this kind of delay. I think like a
You've
perfect
got. I
example.
think it's part of two things, though, isn't it? You've got the delay in the animation, and you've got the latency issue between player
Yeah,
and other player.
exactly. But at the end, at
Yeah.
a certain point, you got caught in this position, and that's what like the game like
Drags
dictates.
you back.
Yeah. Yeah, like on the chat they're saying basically you're just saying that you need more dashes. Exactly. More dashes will solve the problem. um but like, do you think, I feel like Necromancer definitely is when I started the game, it was already good, but it was like mainly everything around like the minions build, you know, like with the lightning storms and all these things like in the dungeons. And I felt like whenever I played it, yeah, it did damage, but it was like quite slow, you know, like on the dungeons. And as you try to get better and like speed running these builds, I felt like a Necromancer was always like dragging, and I feel like that's one of the downsides of like the minions. But as I kept seeing like over these past months, like, man, like the it's completely changing the way Necromancer is working now. Like we have the vortex builds, like you say, the golem and all these things. So do you think like if someone came to you, like a player that just wants to start, Do you think like you will say like Necromancer is the best class for them to try?
I would say it's a good class to try from the start. It's a good free to play class if you're just playing PvE. It's easy to get into. You've got your summons, so you've got defensives there. I think there does become a time where, you we all say about secondaries and resonance. There is a point in time where you do have that kind of wall, what we've talked about, where secondaries do come into play. But I would say yes, it's a good class to start with.
Yeah.
I know you like with Barb. Barb is also in a good place to start with.
I think like Barb, it's not as good as Necromancer just because I feel like if you're like a very casual guy in like the minions are just like that powerful, right? Like they will tank for you, even though like in the beginning of the game they are not as tanky. They still like do the job, right? So
Yeah.
I 100% like the more I play Necromancer, the more I understand now that's like on the current state of the game Necromancer is just like keeps like pushing further and further like on the tier list. I would say like maybe for me like Necromancer used to be like a B tier, then like A tier, and I would say like now is absolutely like S tier for sure. Like if you're a V1 player and you're just like starting now, or even if you're just like started the game like a few months ago, and going back again like to the gear progression of like the getting all those ranks on your main gear, man, just the ability that you can just leave your character like lazy farming, it is
100%.
so good. It is so good. It is like it is something that whenever I started playing the game, it was not like as famous as you said. It's a trend that came up in the past 6 months, but I'm seeing like more and more benefits of like playing Necromancer as you get like to become a veteran now. Like for example, you and me, I feel like I don't know if you agree on this, but my take is like I tried. I made like during the Christmas. I made like a test. I was like taking like the stats, like all the scraps that I was getting, all the gold dust, like the runes. Like I took like I made like a list, and after like 5 days of like lazy farming, I realized that it was not like as a veteran you except like for the server Paragon, like to push your levels on the Paragon and getting the new essence for the Necromancer, there was not really like a lot of reasons to just keep AFK farming, unless I was like extremely unlucky. I never got the orange rune. I never got a gold rune. Like most of the runes that I get are always gray and blues,
I know
in
that feeling.
very low amounts. I don't know why, but like you get like very low amounts. So do you have a different experience than what I did? And do you think like it's worth it for veterans to do like all the time, just leaving like their device always on?
I don't think it's necessary for veterans. No, not at all. I think if you are just playing the game every day anyway, you're going to be all right. I have the same luck with runes when it comes to yourself. I think I've only had 2 orange runes. The rest of them have been yellows and blues and greys. Most of the time it's greys. Just unlucky. And they're not worth anything to sell anymore. So if you do get a good one, there's no point in selling it. You might as well just use it. But
Yeah.
I've never been in that point to use them, so I'm still just using all rare runes. But yeah, I would say veterans don't really need to worry about it. The only reason I do lazy farming is Paragon level.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah. I think like that's like the major benefit that you can see. Even though I will say that it's not really needed, to be fair. Like if you just like do your battle pass, if you just like push all these things and you just play normally, you just do your weeklies and dailies, and you just play like 1 hour per day, I think you're gonna be always like do your bounties, like do your dungeons, do all these things, and I think like you're gonna be completely fine. So I want to go like through I want to ask you what is like your favorite game modes in Diablo Immortal.
Well, my favorite one is definitely Survivor's Bane. I love that mode.
Oh, you're talking
When
about
that's on.
okay. Oh, okay. Oh no, I was not talking about events. I was talking about, for
Okay.
example, Vanguard, Elder Reefs, like the game modes
Okay.
that
If
we
we go,
have.
I would say that one that I do the most is clearly just doing like dungeons. You know,
Mm,
just being an overall game mode. Challenge dungeons are really fun. I think they could do with more affixes in the dungeons now. Mix them up, have a monthly rotation, add more, do something so it's interesting. Um, I think the change. So someone's just mentioned Survivor's Bane. I think that should be an event that's in all the time. I think that's great. You know, if it was an event that was in all the time, yeah, I'd do it every single day. I love it. But other than that, really, challenge rifts seem pointless. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, we've been given 5 more levels on greens, but even then, you get to level 22, and then you've got to be Paragon level 899 to level it up again. And just seems pointless as well. Elder Rifts, I only do them when I get 10 legendaries, and I do 30 crests each week, and that's pretty much it. I never really cap out my embers anymore. Just don't bother. I don't need any gems to craft. I could craft the legendary crests, which I always forget to do. But now we can craft 10 of those at a time. Maybe I will do them more often.
I will say that the Elder Rifts, especially the Fading Ember grind, it's crazy. It's like so boring. Like you do the
It
30,
really is.
it is really boring. Like one of the things is helping me is just because like now I'm a immortal, so I have to like do the like those 3 Elder Rifts per day, so I get like the extra keys.
Yep.
There's a name. It's like a something blessing. And it helps me to do, but I remember like when I was a shadow, it was just like, oh my god, like I have to do these. Now they made like a few quality changes that if you go into a party and you try to sneak in these parties even without crest, and someone's gonna make the crest, and you can get like some extra fading embers. But I feel like 100%, just put the Elder Rifts on the pets, man. Let me send my pets to do the Elder Rifts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Oh, that would be great.
They gotta
That would
come.
be great being able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, more
The
than
other
the.
thing I think they should. How do you find doing your terror rifts weekly? Well, I know we only get to do 10, but one thing that bugs me with them is when you do the last rift, the last tower, for your 300 shards.
Mhm.
Why do you have to go out to restart? Why can't you just go restart inside? It just
Okay.
bugs me.
Yeah, that's that's a good question. That's actually probably an improvement that they could do. Not being able to just. I feel like it's just like you recreate like a new instance for you. I think that's to do like a development side, but definitely you could just click a button and like reset it inside and like just teleport but
Yeah.
be still inside. I never thought about that. So they're actually a very cool input that will definitely make the game better. I kind of like to. I mean, I go to their reefs often, mainly because of the gems, to be honest. So I end up like doing like one per day, or like sometimes I don't do because like I do other things, but then I do like 2 or 3. So I get like the daily jams from today and the daily jams from yesterday. I feel like we gotta give some props like on that not only they gave us a jam counter, but also they gave us the possibility that we can skip 1 day or 2 days and
Oh,
have
that was
like
like one of the best changes they did.
that was
100%.
so good. And I feel like if you're a veteran at the game, you appreciate these changes so much, because like a lot of times it was just you like feeling like I remember, man, I was like in this party, man, and I was away all day, and I had to try to sneak out before the reset time to try to do like some terror rifts because I had like my 12 dungeons, my 12 normal gems to do. So I'm like degenerate to like that point. Like that's how obsessed I get. Like I have to like mid max everything. And now I'm slightly more chill because like the game also helps you with these. Thank God. But still, like yesterday I was like I said on the stream, bro, I was trying to get like the new instance so I could try like this OP build for Necromancer, and I was like putting like every 45 minutes the alarm, so I know it was like 45 minutes or more or less the time that it gets like to have like 1 or 2 monster answers delivery. And okay, I was just like, I sometimes like do these things, I go out of my way. But I really enjoy Terra Reefs. I think like Terra Reefs is one of the few additions that they added that not only the game mode, it is it is okay. It is fun. It's not fun, you know. It's just like it is killing mobs, man. You just go around, you kill mobs, you get shards, you go kill the
Yeah,
boss, and
yeah.
then so it is very dynamic in that sense. So I enjoy it, and it has a bigger purpose. That's, you know, you can go there to farm the
I
gems.
still
So
think there is other changes they could do to it though. You know, as you progress through it, have more monsters spawn, so
I
it
feel
becomes
like
more difficult.
there is one thing that I liked the other version was that the group was always together. You
Oh,
know,
that as well. Yeah, 100%.
that was I think that was cooler. Now it's just like you have your tower spawns like on the other side of the map, mine is here. So it kind of slows down the progression that it used to be. But I kind of like when it was like everyone in group. So whenever you were in group, there is higher chance to have like higher rarities and higher mobs. I don't know if you know about. Uh,
Yeah.
so it kind of was nice when you had like 4 people and everything gets like chaotic. So I look forward like to those moments. I feel like 100% they can make it even better, even more exciting. It could be nice to have like a unlimited mode, endless mode, you know. Can you imagine like a Terror
Oh,
Rift endless mode? That'll be crazy.
oh man, that would be amazing.
That'll be cool. Like 4300, then like 600, then like 1000.
They could so put like a leaderboard to that as well. That'd be so good.
Yeah, like I feel like the games they need like fun things. And for example, one of the most fun things that for me that I saw in this game was the speedrun events. Okay, not everyone liked it, but for me, I really enjoyed it. You know, like I was trying to find out like all these gimmicks, like with the leap and the sprint and all these things, and people were like I got like to be first, like because I got like these. I know I managed to get like this understanding of like the leap, and I could like
Yeah.
on the loading, if you're like spamming your leap, you could like jump like twice before the loading happened. So I was exploiting the whole thing to get like those extra seconds, and I think that was really fun. I think leaderboards, they are fun, and small things like these makes the game definitely more fun.
I think leaderboards are great. You know,
Yeah.
I even with my Paragon level, and I'm probably just still like you really with some other parts of the game, but I look at my Paragon level and I look at my clan and I go, am I the top Paragon in the clan?
Oh,
It's just
okay, but you think it
it's
is
so
because
bad. It's so bad.
mm, I
And I get
used to
down to like 5%, 1% experience, and I'm like, I'm still not the top. Why? I just
mm,
have to have that Paragon the highest.
that's why I see you
It's
always
it's just
insulted then, Brandon. um People are saying like Terra Reefs. I love Terra Reefs and Pillars. Super fun to spam. I feel like of Living Pillars, it is surprising, challenging sometimes.
yes.
Sometimes like if you don't pay attention, man, you're gonna lose that Terra instance. You absolutely gonna do that.
It
Um,
depends on the boss though, right? You get a summoner spawn and you're just pretty much screwed. As a
yeah,
Necro.
the summoner is like the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely the worst. Like the other day, I got like 4 times in a row. It was I was absolutely sweating on the Necromancer. It was fun, but now, guys, on the chat, you guys always can ask questions if you guys feel comfortable to do it. It is completely fine. But I kind of want to change gears a bit. Like we already spoke about Necro. Necro is a free to play. Necro on the PvP. Also, like a few game modes. Now I want to get more into like the Lawrence. How do you started like this YouTube journey? Why did you started like tell me a bit more like when and why.
When and why? Well, I think it all started off with just being on the Diablo Immortal Discord server, and I started just making up kind of guides just in Paint with different builds, so people could actually have a copy of something, so they could make their builds much easier. And that started pretty much when the game came out. And it just progressed from there really. Every time that a new kind of essence would come out, it'd be like, has Laurent made a new build yet? Is there a new build guide? And I think that was always going to turn into doing YouTube. I
Mm.
think, you know, it was just having, I suppose, the desire to do it and the kind of the not being kind of anxious about doing it. You know, and I think I got to the point where I was just like, right, let's just do it. And I started off with using AI as my voiceover, and soon changed that because it was just like, yeah, why not? I might as well just do my voice now.
uh,
And then I was like, well, I might
I
as well
don't
have a
know.
camera now.
I didn't get that, Lord. I didn't know. So so you were the but why did you do the AI voice? Because you think it looks cooler than your voice?
I just don't like the sound of my own voice.
That's fine. No, I mean that's completely normal.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
just like it's something like you just get used to. You know, like
Yeah.
when you're editing your own videos, it's kind of weird, right? So you hear your voice like at this stage, I've heard my own voice like hundreds of times.
Yeah.
So I got used to it. I know how it sounds. It is completely Giga Shad, you know. So I like that. But at the start, I also didn't used to like it, and I used to. The first videos I recorded that I don't think I have it anymore, but I try to make a more mature voice. You know, I try to speak more like, you know, like these more
Yeah.
stronger, you know, like. And then I show my wife, and I said, what you doing? Why are you doing this voice?" And I was like, "Yeah, because you know, like I see like these other YouTubers, like I saw, for example, Orat, I saw like a Crane, and like and even Abu. They all speak like slowly, but you know, like in and I was getting like again self-confidence, lack of self-confidence,
Yep.
like you know, it's just like things on it. And I think like, okay, maybe if I go with my own like more energetic voice and all these things, people maybe not gonna like it and all these things. And you know, it was actually, you know, she was the one that told me, hey, just be yourself, you know,
Be
like
yourself.
this is stupid. You know.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I'd agree. I think when I started watching you and it's like getting to know you from just watching the stream, I suppose you seeing you being yourself as a content creator kind of did give me that kind of push to go, right, well, why not just use my own voice? Why not be on a camera and just get used to it, you know? And like you say, when I've been editing my videos now, not that I'd like to do much editing, I like to keep it nice and simple. You know, I could
yeah,
think it's if it goes out just nice and pure how it was when you first recorded it, is sometimes better because then people get to see that you're just being a human being and you're just, you know, having a conversation about what's going on in the game. But I think, yeah, I would say you give me that kind of, you know, showing how you are on stream, how you are on your videos. Definitely give me that push to just be myself.
I mean, yeah, I'm blushing right now. You cannot see it, but
100%. You know, I've even been speaking to like VK,
Mhm.
and he gave me a shout out the other day, and that was great. Didn't say anything he was going to do, but I've know that he doesn't like having his real voice on
Yeah,
his videos. And he said to me on Discord today, he was like, "Keep using your real voice. You've got a great accent."
yeah.
He said it's really good to hear your voice, and I'm actually getting that from the community is really nice, and it gives you that more confidence in doing what you're doing.
No, I think you have a cool voice. To be honest,
Thanks.
and like I can see, I don't follow you for a very. I know you for like 6 months probably, right?
Yeah.
So I also like I'm new at this, right? But I saw your progression, and I see you like making these bumps into the right direction. And you know, like I told you, I sent you the other day, like I'm really proud that
Yeah.
you make, I see you making efforts and evolving your content. And the main reason why I reach out to you is because like I saw, bro, this guy can actually be like a very good content creator and a good addition to Diablo Immortal, which we need. Like we need like
100%.
more and better content creators. And whenever you see someone that is like slightly talented, then you can, you know, help. I feel like that's really really cool. But 100%, man, like you have a big advantage that's like, so for example, I am Portuguese, so I have an accent that I cannot, you know, hide. And a lot
Yeah.
of times I have to pause and think about like what I'm gonna say, because like English is not my mother tongue. So
Yeah.
with time, like the stream definitely helps. In the more I speak, the more I get like more comfortable. But like sometimes I'm on the stream and like, man, what is that word? What is that? What is that word that I want to say, bro? And for you will definitely come way more fluent. And I feel like it is fine because everyone will have their. I rather see it as whatever we think that is we don't like. It doesn't mean like other people won't like, but definitely if we are always fixated on that and we always mention it, then people will start noticing and they will start like picking on it, and then you have
Yeah.
trolls saying like, yeah, you just mentioned like the voice thing. Now you're gonna have like the YouTube comments saying, bro, Lord is such a shitty voice, you know.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, if you want to trigger like, you know, you look at this guy, man, go back to AI voice.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be funny.
No,
I would
but
never go back to that. I would never go back to the AI voice. Sod that.
No, but you definitely been pushing the envelope, and I really appreciate it. And I feel like I see you more confident. Like the other day, I opened a video of yours. Holy shit, he's using the camera now. You know, like that was like nice. It was nice to see. And then it's just practice. But I am glad that you know we inspired you on that. You also were here always like on the stream all the time, and since you're part of the community, whenever you reach the first 1,000, and now you're already fucking like 2,000, like now like 2 feet, like
2,500. It went above today.
What already? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So watch out, chat. LaurethUK is coming after me.
But you went above 8,000 today, so you know, congrats to that.
Yeah, I feel like the way I see it's you know, like doesn't mean like the like subscribers will matter, but it is for things that you like as you keep progressing the channel, like sponsorships and all these things. But because in reality it doesn't it won't like change a lot, because like the way the algorithms now work, it is even if you subscribe to my channel and you're like into other things, like my channel won't pop on your feed. So it's very, very weird. Let me go here, check like a few questions. Paul say your energy Indez makes your accent not a problem. Bro, I'm glad that then I'm gonna be energetic all the time.
I would 100% agree with that. Like, I never have a problem kind of with your accent or what you're trying to communicate over. I think it's absolutely fine.
I try to, again, not care too much, and I don't mind making mistakes, you know. So I think like that's something that
I just like the way you speak your mind as well. I think it's great.
Yeah, sometimes I speak too much. Agro is saying, any talk about Blood Knight? Okay, let's talk a bit about Blood Knight. What do you think about Blood Knight?
I've never played it. I know when it first came out, there was a lot of love for it. Obviously the game spiked, but I hear a lot of bad things, you know, from you, from other people, saying how bad it is, you know, and only whales have a good time with it. And I've only seen that as a response as well, you know. You only whales in when you're actually doing the battlegrounds, you only see whales getting a good amount of kills, good amount of, you know, assists, but you don't ever see really the low kind of resonance Blood Knight getting anywhere near.
Yeah, and it is frustrating because I will say that Blood Knight is one of the coolest designs, definitely, on the game. And I feel like there's a lot of like, any class has diehard fans, you know, but I feel like definitely Blood Knight, it is up there. But I feel like the only thing you guys have to think, if I was a Blood Knight right now, think how monks were like a few months back. You know, they were like, everyone will joke about them and all these things, and there will be a moment that maybe like even Bard or even Necromancer will go there. You know, there's just like a cycle that keeps on going. But the good thing is like Diablo Immortal allows you to change classes. So if you really don't want to deal with it and you want to, you know, okay, my class is not like that great, maybe it's a good opportunity for you to just go and take a shot at other classes, you know, that maybe don't look a lot. I feel like I don't know if you agree on this, but I think like when it comes like to PvE and enjoying the game, I feel like we do tier lists because tier lists are popular. People like to have like some sort of guidance, but the reality is like you don't really need a tier list when it comes to PvE.
No,
so,
I'd agree.
Like, do you play Necromancer? Like, you played all the way. It's because, and you never changed, right?
Never changed.
Jesus Christ.
Day one, never changed. Love Necromancer. I was the same on Diablo 3 though.
You never had any curiosity to try anything else, ever?
Um, when I first played the game, I'll be honest with you. First played the game, I think the first class I played was a monk. I
Okay.
didn't even give it to level 60. Didn't even get to level 60. And then I thought, I was playing it with one of my brothers and one of his friends to start with, and after that, they stopped playing. They went on to play some other stuff, and I carried on playing because I've always loved Diablo. No matter what kind of
Yeah.
Diablo 3 got me into it. It's a shame about Diablo 4 because I would have been into that, but I stuck with DI, and I will do for the time being. I don't see me going away from it anytime soon, but I will try other classes. I think the first one I will try when I do change up would probably be Crusader.
Why? Why Crusader?
Simply because it's got a good kind of synergy with what I'm already using when it comes to gems.
Because okay.
And it has got a dot resolution build, so that synergy is quite nice.
Mm. But if I had to make you a question, like
Yep.
builds aside,
Mhm.
stats aside, what is like the class that you think is the coolest aside from Necro?
The class that's the
The
coolest.
kind of edge you to try.
I think if you just go and buy the way they read and the way they look when you're looking at them, I would say Blood Knight seems the coolest.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. It's like if Blood Knight will be a good class, will you change for it? If like it
Oh,
went like with your
probably,
gems,
probably, yeah, probably, yeah, 100%.
it will be like a very different play style. I feel like
Yeah, 100% it will.
the difference like from Diablo 4, I also played Diablo 4. I have like fucking hundreds of hours on that game. But again, I play all the classes. I am like that kind of
Yeah,
guy. I
yeah, no.
like to experience everything. However, I will say that Diablo Immortal, I really, really enjoy the class change, and it makes me feel like whenever I go to play Diablo 4, like I did like last time on the expansion, I was like, man, it'll be so nice now. I'm I was what is the spirit born, and I kind of wanted to,
Good
man,
one.
I just want to go change like the necromancer, but no, hey man, I have to go and level up all these again, and
Yeah.
just like I was just, even though it's like really fast, you can do it like in like 2 or 3 days. It is still like some. I don't have a lot of time. Also, like people, we just get busy, right? So back to the tier list. Do you feel like in general people just dictate a lot of like their play style and their picks on others people opinions?
Sometimes, yes. I think people will, like you say, with tier lists, they will kind of go, okay, I'm now starting this new game. What is the best class? And they will just go straight to YouTube and pick the best class out instead of just going into the game and picking something that looks cool, like you said, and just seeing what the game feels like for themselves. I think tier list does give that, and I suppose tier list has got that other thing where it could be that that class is the best at end game and not at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So I think tier list does give that kind of false sense of security, really, that as a new player you might not enjoy because they don't play well until end game.
Yeah, that's why I made this tier list that you guys can check down below. Best starter tier list. No, I was.
But it's so true though, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
what's good at the beginning of the game, like you say, minions, necromancer, great at the beginning of the game, but now you get to the end game and you start
and
seeing all the end game builds. There's not really many summon necromancers around that use summons only.
yeah.
There is some builds, don't get me wrong, and there's some stupid builds when it comes to summons, especially if they're paired with a crusader was using fire banner.
Mhm.
Some dot resolution builds can produce crazy amounts of damage, but you're not going to have that perfect scenario all the time.
Yeah, because like
So
at the end game, things are getting faster and faster, right? So and the main major issue with necromancer minions is like the minions are just like slow, like
yeah.
in general they are just slow. Also, as you're saying, like there is like this very niche that if you pair with the crusader and maybe like in single target and all these things you can do, but in general, like you do open world, you do like random dungeons, like you explore the game in so many ways, and you're just not doing like this one very
But
specific thing.
Diablo, I think you find that in Diablo 4 as well. Everything is fast. You got to be fast. They're doing everything.
Yeah.
It was in Diablo 3. Every class had to have a speed build for just speeding through everything, whether that would be greater rifts, normal rifts, or just doing bounties or whatever, open world. And I think all Diablo games have always been that way. And I think even with this game, it's going to stick that way. I can't see it going back that way now. It's just going to keep getting faster and faster and faster. Um, will that slow down as the things get more difficult? I don't think so. I think they will add just more stuff to the game, which could just progress us even further or even quicker. I'm surprised they haven't added in things like the cube from D3.
Mm. Definitely, they have way more to explore. But mentioning of what you're saying, that things are getting faster and faster. Like one of the things that I feel like for PVE, it is completely fine. Like you want to find like these crazy builds that you buff up, you run, you destroy everything. That's
That's
like
what it's all about.
that's all exactly. That's like the pinnacle of like this my character that I really want to be that OP. That's like
Yeah.
we play, we spend time, some people spend money, and that's like the dream, right? But on the other side, like we have the PvP, like because this is also a PvP game, and on PvP it's not only about that. And I feel like, again, going back to the scenario that I was trying to tell, like by making like this catering a lot for like the speed for PvE is also changing the meta into like everyone is just buffing up, having like big AoEs, like everyone does like massive AoE damage, like everyone is fast, and that just doesn't allow really for an environment where you can really perform with skill. Like there's no skill shots, or like very like who is a class that has skill shots? Like maybe like wizard, but it is a skill shot that is like this size. Like
100%.
that's
But
not
we
really
spoke
a
about this in the stream. The amount of CC and AoE damage there is in the current battleground, where you've got a lane that's so big, but it covers an area this big. It's just
yeah.
it does ruin the game.
So I wish, like, again, like they make like a certain changes, so maybe the game, because I remember, for example, in World of Warcraft, like you had the PvE build, it was completely different than the way you played PvP in arenas. Like it was
Yep.
vastly different. It was like playing like a different character with the same skills and talents. So obviously we're not gonna have a perfect game, but I am with you. I think it's only gonna get like worst for the PvP and better for the PvE. Like the game
Yeah.
is just gonna get faster, faster, and faster. I think that's gonna be uh the where we're gonna end up. So one last question, regarding like your YouTube journey. So you are with Necro. You are exploring all the things for Necro. You are like now considered like the Necro guy. Like what it feels good. When you made it like in this community, it's whenever like you go around and someone is saying, "Oh, do you have a Necro build?" And they say, "Oh, check this guy, check Lawrence," or that's when like, okay, I am making a staple. Like
Yeah.
my content is reaching there, and that's really what, like when I see those, I say, yes, that's like the thing that I was trying to tell you, like, so people, because every day you have new players coming to the game. Like it doesn't matter like really the things you did like 2 years ago, or like new players are always fitting in, and whenever like you are helpful to these players, to new players, and they want to explore Necromancer, and they have like this one-stop shop for everything about Necromancer. They will go there, they will have lunch, they will have their meals.
Yeah.
So what is it like your plans for the future when it comes to your YouTube channel?
I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing for now. Bringing out more builds. Hopefully, when we figure out more builds, when it comes to this new essences. Now, I don't know really what we're gonna do down that road, but there is always new things that people are asking for. This, leveling guides people want when it comes to necromancers, what builds to use. The amount of times we see that in Discord being asked, what are you using? What's the quickest way of leveling up? What's stuff like this? Just similar to what you've done with Barb, I suppose, in your journey. But people, like you say, people always joining the game. They go up to their class, they put it into YouTube, and they say fastest way to level a necromancer.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of the route that I'm going to take. As well as still doing kind of the end game stuff. I still want to be progressing through with that, and just thinking of any, you know, ideas that come up to mind. You know, I've got one that I want to go into with Reforges for Necromancers that I've been asked for a long time. Simply because I think when people see my dungeon damage, they go, "How do you do that much damage?" And it is due to Reforges. You know, you've
Yeah.
seen with 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 video, he put that out. You know, LOC damage to enemies. It's absolutely insane. Damage to demons. And I think a lot of people don't know that, or they haven't had the Reforged stones to be able to go
Yeah.
into that. Or they just consider that they need to go crit damage or whatever it is in there, which is wrong. It's there's so much more to the game that people don't realize when it comes to developing their character, and I think that's kind of the road that I want to take.
Yeah. I feel like taking the steps like to try to help like people that are joining the game, and because like again we already spoke like a few times that after like the main quest people get like very lost, and like for many people this is a mobile game and it is the first ARPG experience. Like
Yeah,
it is very sometimes we forget like that's okay. We've been playing Diablo 4, we played like Diablo 3, like all these, and so like we understand like what is like strength, vitality, dexterity, agility, like crit chance, like. But imagine you like playing Diablo and installing for the first time and you have absolutely no idea. Like whenever you see someone that takes the time to like just go into like the very basic things, that's why I also like try to make like my guides. I know that the veteran people are gonna do this. They're gonna open my video, they're gonna instance set bonus, maybe Paragon. Yep. They're gonna leave after 10 seconds. Like yep. I know why, because probably you and me we do the same. That's 100%. That's just how it is. Like we know the game, and so I try to make like the videos for someone to like the whole guide, and I think like you also trying to do that, to explain, because like I feel like one of the biggest mistakes that I see that even casual players they do is they don't really understand why the build works. Like they look at the damage and they think, oh, it's the resonance, or it's like the resonance is always like the first thing. It's like the shiny like circle that you have like on your character, right? And if you see like like 1,000, it doesn't matter what is the number, as long as it's superior.
I think
to
it's
theirs.
Even more than that. I think it's literally like that guy's got huge wings. That's what I need to be.
Yeah, that was something that like 𝙀𝙗𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿, he was dealing with that, and he still deals with that. Like so take some time, like if you are a casual player, to understand like the concept of the build. What are the main key instances? And whenever I some people ask me like, oh, what is a replacement for these set items or for these instances, and it's like most of the times like there isn't. Like it's like the build is worked that way. Unfortunately, like maybe there are some exceptions that like a build is not as important to have that offhand or whatever, but it is so rare because like you can only like perform like whenever you have the whole thing. And as you said, like the reforges, they are so important, and I feel like that's like one of the things like people only started realizing like a few months back, because it was not it was not like a thing, like the meta since I started playing until now it's changed. And because it has changed on the PvE, it kind of fucked me up because I had it took me like 6-7 months to make like the perfect one, following one that 𝙀𝙗𝙉𝙉𝘍 gave,
Yep.
With the Hydra. It was like primary skill and
crit.
Which one?
Crit damage.
Yeah, exactly. Primary skill, crit damage, beneficial effect, and attack speed. Okay, yep. I had perfect. And now, like, the meta changed, and it's like, oh, yeah, never mind the primary attack and the skill damage. It's all about damage to demons and damage to loss of control,
Yep.
And I just don't have the Reforge, I don't.
It goes back all to the beginning, doesn't it? We don't get enough stones to be able to do these things.
Yeah, they really, I feel like there is no reason. I don't see a big reason to like almost paywall the Reforge stones. Like this at the end of the day, this is a RPG. you should be able to, in a easier way, to try different builds and to try to experiment. Yeah, the new loadout, it is a step in the right direction, but that's not the problem. Like the problem was never like really the loadouts. Is like the lack of stones, which leads that people need loadouts because like they are so scarce. But again, like for the new player, it will take you so long not only to unlock all the 5 ones, but also getting all the Reforge stones and all these things. So it's kind of, whenever I see like the gap, the gap that exists like from new players to even like me or like a veteran or something like that, you know, like it's, I think I'll be personally, if I started like right now, I'll be demoralized to just keep playing the game.
Oh, same would I. Yeah, I think so. Agreed.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they need to fix more than anything.
Yeah, they are definitely trying to implement like better PvE, free to play systems, but I don't think they are solving. Like, yeah, you get an extra socket on your on your triple main stat gear. Yeah, awesome. You know, good. Like, I don't need to spend as much time to grind like all these multiple sets. But again, that's not really what like the new player really
The trouble
needs.
is with that, we haven't done enough testing yet to see if they've actually nerfed the rates that exceptionals drop.
I hope not.
I'm just putting that out there. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No, but also like someone, no, I will not be surprised. To be fair,
Nor would I.
The other thing that I noticed was like the event center disappeared, and they kind of, I don't know if you saw.
Yeah,
like,
I see that in Risha's video, and I was like, what? What's
that she did
there?
a video? I didn't
She
know,
did a video that was a couple of days ago, and I hadn't even noticed.
No, me neither. Like, but today I was going like through my events, and because like the Revenant thing is like I look down and like, what the fuck? It's like there's no events. And because like I was thinking about making this video about like the festive Valentine. That's like, bro, like this is one of the first events that we have like keys, we have like even gems coming. Like it was like absolutely crazy. But now I realized that what they did, they moved the event center to the main event. I feel like personally it's cool. I just hope they didn't nerf us. You know, I just hope
when it goes away, will they bring back the event center, or will they have an event that is like this at all times? That is the big question, I suppose.
I think I personally like more this system. I just think that, for example, whenever the survivor's bane is active in the inside the Valentine. So, for example, Hordes, like it's Hordes, like he missed the trial of the Hordes. Like he was traveling around, like he didn't even see that you had to do the trial of the Hordes inside
because
the event.
It wasn't listed.
Yeah, because it was not listed. Yeah. So I feel like a fix that they should do is also put it there. But I don't know. I think it's because like there is no missions. So they will probably have to redesign, but 100% I think it should be there because people are just they're just used to it. I think it was a UI problem. Like we also had another UI problem with the mirror jewels that was inside the Winds of Fortune. So
how many times with the event center though did you kind of see a red dot somewhere and think, where the hell is it? And then it's actually in your event center.
Yeah, that definitely happened. I feel like on a positive note, what I can say is like, if you are a veteran and already been playing this game for a while, definitely the game is becoming more and more friendly. I think like that's nice. They are realizing that people are and they were like spending a lot of time doing things that are not like that fun. You know, like I really like the pet expeditions, extremely good. I think they should expand that feature because when you log in, you don't really want to be doing always like the first 30 minutes or 40 minutes of your day that you're enjoying, like joining the game, like always like, okay, now this out of the way. Okay, now let's have fun. Oh shit, now I only have 15 minutes to play. You know, like some people are like really busy and they also don't want to skip on all these things. So I feel like they are making efforts to acknowledge like these people to try to make the game slightly, so people like some people are, yeah, but they are trying to make like the game like extremely casual, like soon it's gonna be an AFK game, blah blah blah. I don't think that's the point. I think it's just like you trying to remove the boring stuff out of the way so people can actually enjoy the things that they want to enjoy.
I think you're right. There's so much that we have to do. Like when you showed up, I think it was on your stream earlier, the list of things to do on a weekly and a daily basis. It's just too much for most people
Yeah.
to grind all of that. And like you say, if they have something in there where you can do it passively, like with the expeditions we've got now, it's just going to make it quicker for people to be able to kind of get into the enjoyment side of the game, which is doing PvE or PvE, depending on which one you prefer to do. I could sit and grind dungeons for hours, just killing mobs after mobs. I find that just relaxing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's like if you played like Diablo 4 and all these things, like what do you do? Like that's the ARPG thing. Is like it's
Yeah.
the grind. I really I don't do like nowadays as much like dungeons as I kind of wanted. And the main reason is because it doesn't drop a lot of answers. And that's all I need. Like I only need the answers. So maybe in the future I'm gonna need a few more like green set items, but definitely I will say that dungeons it is like my favorite in the PvP. Okay, dungeons and
Yeah.
PvP. The rest
Are you looking forward to the new map?
I am definitely looking forward for it. Like I cannot say a lot about
No,
it,
agreed.
but just I feel like here's how I see a change. It will be good. I don't think it's gonna be like it's like getting a new dungeon. Imagine you got a
Mhm.
new dungeon. It's gonna be hype. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna run it for a few times, but it's gonna get boring over time, unless that dungeon comes like with something new. Something that you never saw in like maybe a different affixes. Maybe now it's like 8 people, or instead like if it is the same thing but just a different layout. I feel like it will last like very less time, like the excitement. So I hope they keep working on it, and I feel like maybe there's something that like for people to get excited about.
I hope, from my opinion, and I haven't seen anything to do with it. I hope it's going to be just you click dungeon battleground, and it just puts you into either one, and it's always going to be available. It's not going to be something that's just available one map at a time for a certain period of time.
Also, like the rotation thing that
Not
they're
even
gonna.
not just like a random dungeon. When you click random dungeon, it joins you to a random dungeon. So the
Oh,
same with a battleground. You
oh, I
just
see.
click battleground and it's just a random. The same with like in WoW when you had battlegrounds. You
Yeah,
would
yeah,
just
yeah,
click
yeah.
random battleground and it would
And
put you into one of them random battlegrounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, that could be a very interesting thing. I don't think how they're gonna do. They're probably just gonna test. I think like based on that, what they said on the blog post was like, okay, for like 2 months we're gonna run the new map. Probably they're gonna then take it out, get the feedback, fix whatever they have, and then they're probably gonna include it. But I think like that's a very cool idea. If you just click battleground and then it's like, what is gonna be? Which
You
map?
don't know which one you're going to get. And I
Yeah.
think then, if there is such a difference between the two maps, there's not going to be a build that anyone can use that's going to be superior in either map because they don't know what they're going to get.
Okay, now I think about that, and I kind of wish I could pick just because based on this. If the mechanic of the maps and is the same and the layout just changes, like probably the same build will work. But let's imagine like it is for example, I always give like the example of Tower Ward, right? Some people they use the same build, they don't really care. Like also some classes are completely fine with the same build on the Battlegrounds or the Tower Ward. But
Yeah.
for example, a barbarian, because like you have to run like all these long distance, like it's kind of nice that you have the sprint. Also depends on your playstyle. I like to play capture the flag, like capture the tower.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
the barbarian, like running. Other times if I want to sit in the middle, maybe I go to the battlegrounds. But I kind of think that will be positive probably for the game to have a more like like the same way as we have in PvE, that you have raids, farm build, dungeon build. How I think it will be cool if we could based on the map and the mechanic of the map, change our builds because I don't know. I'm just like
Mm.
thinking that maybe it could go a bit more deeper into the PV. But the other side also is probably exciting that you go with your generic build, PvP build, and then it's like, man, this build does really suck on this map. I got unlucky. I got unlucky, bro. But I feel like
It just
tell me.
yeah, it just opens up so many kind of possibilities, I suppose, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah,
unless they allow you to kind of, if they did it as a random battleground, allow you to change build while you're in the battleground.
probably you can go to the armory. You can change like like the builds as you guys can do. But I sometimes like like the chat asks me, or like I even think to myself like people are like, okay, you sometimes like you are speaking bad about the game and all these things, and why do you play it? And I play it because I like the game. Like when I criticize, it comes like from a place that I cared about the game. And
100%. Yeah.
and I show my frustration sometimes in, because if I didn't care, I will not be playing, I'll not be creating content, and I will just play something else,
Yeah.
so um it's just like maybe the some people, maybe it's the wrong way to show like the that I care, but that's like it's like tough love.
I think it's always been that way with Diablo games or in ARPGs in general. You know, if you like ARPGs and they kind of have got things in them that are annoying, or they change something in there which is gonna, piss you off, you're gonna voice your opinion no matter how much you like the game. It's always gonna be seen as a negative, but it really isn't a negative that you're doing it for. You're doing it for a positive reason.
Yeah, it's like you pointing out something
Yeah,
that, hey, this is not great, can we make
yeah.
it better, and but I also
But as
I
long as you
always
do that in the correct way, then it's not gonna be,
yeah,
I
that's the
suppose
problem.
detrimental to who you are, isn't it? Because you do see these people on Reddit that just, rant and rave. And then you think, well, that's not going to have a positive effect on anything. You've got to do it in the correct way.
Yeah, like also like there's a lot of like hidden work that like partners do. Like we always give like a bunch of feedback, or we also like pick up feedback from people that we see. Hey, this was cool. This was a good idea. Like we bring it up.
Yeah.
Maybe like one day you're gonna be there. I'm sure. I'm sure you're gonna reach there for sure. So
Wait and see.
no, I'm pretty sure. Like that is what I will say. Like there's a like 0% chance that you're not gonna be there, unless I don't know. It's just I think like the now the way that works. Okay, I'm gonna tell this. Like I got extremely lucky. So
Yeah.
from what I saw, or what I people told me, they have these like timelines that they start recruiting. Okay, so but this happens like every few months. So they go around, they check, oh, there's this cool guy, and then they bring it in. But if you're not getting called, like it doesn't mean like, oh, it's because your channel sucks or not. No, it's just because like they are not recruiting, or they are not in like the open season.
No,
So
no.
as long as you're patient and you just keep outputting like good work and all these things, I mean, like the major benefits that I could tell you that you get, I would say like just being like a bit more inside like of what is going on, even though you cannot speak a lot, you're just
Yeah.
part of like something bigger. You get like the cosmetic scene, maybe like that's something interesting. Like for me, that's just like okay. And then like you have the status, but like the status that I don't think like he has like a very, I think like the status actually as a Diablo partner is kind of worst. Like so your fans, it's like, oh my god, you got it, and then you have like, man, these Diablo partners, man, they don't know shit. Like they are just like all the blah 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 blah, it's like, oh my god, it's like, oh, if I was there, I would be like so much better in that, it's like it's like, oh my god. So we get a lot of shit for that, and it's like, oh, you just get like the skin for free, and but
I
it's
think the
it's
best thing you've got as a partner, from what I see from the outside, is the ability to speak to the devs.
yeah, it's the it's like in real life, right? Like the networking, you know, when you meet someone and you just like get that access, it's like that's powerful. Like you unlock a certain connection that can change your life a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that you're gonna change your life.
No,
but,
no.
but you know what I mean. Like you just get access to maybe like in the future to be other opportunities, and it's something. It's cool, you know. So yeah, then once you get it, like then just don't fuck it up, man. Don't fuck it up.
See what the future holds.
I will say like sometimes like you know, like for example, my wife, she asked like, aren't you afraid that maybe like for saying like certain things and like you get out of like, and I say to her like, I don't, if I get off like if they kick me out of like for anything I say, so for expressing my opinion, I am completely fine, you know, like because I cannot change myself, but obviously like I'm not gonna break TOS stupidly, you know,
No.
like I know where I'm gonna be careful, but you know, like us others sometimes is also when you are like streaming, you also it's entertainment, you know, like sometimes
Of course.
I even say like there's like this guy like there, I say, bro, whenever sometimes we do drama and drama content, drama is not always bad, you know, like drama content, it is famous for the reason, and like multiple famous games they have drama because people like it. It is exciting. It doesn't mean like you're gonna have like everyone going against each other, but from time
Drama
to
still gets people talking.
yeah, it's like when, especially whenever, man, I thank oh bro, I thank Apollyon and Echo. Whenever like a few weeks ago the game was so boring and I was like, bro, what am I gonna fucking stream today? And then it's like Echo comes,
It's
bang,
all
1 hour 1 hour video. I'm like, thank you, bro. I got my
yep.
stream. 2 hour reaction.
Shitstorm completely. It was a mad, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, it was. I love to stay like on the sidelines, you know, and just like with my popcorn watching and commenting, you know. It was nice. It was fun. I think like I am someone that I enjoy like these things. Of course, like I didn't like the threats for the pony and all this. Yeah, I think like it was
No,
completely
there was always that negative side to it, isn't there? But I think you're right. When drama is needed, and I think in a game like Diablo Immortal, where there is a PvP kind of battle thing that we have to do with the immortals and the shadows, you're always going
yeah
to get drama, no
yeah.
matter what. It happens every turn, every kind of reign. There's going to be some sort of drama that's going on, no
The
matter what
shit
server you're
talking,
on.
man. The shit talking
Yeah,
that there is,
yeah,
man. It's crazy.
yeah,
But it's exciting. It's exciting. I feel
yeah.
like we're losing a lot. Like to be that's one thing that I noticed. Like I was in a clan that was extremely like polite. You know, not their fault. It's just like that leadership. You know, like the thing. And I'm someone's like sometimes I just like to throw here and there like some jokes. You know. And I was like at sometimes I was like, bro, like just relax, man. This is not I'm not on a corporate office or something like that, you know. So I feel like one of the best things that I kind of did was like leaving, and now I'm in a more like chill, relax. Everyone's like just goof around. Like it's fun. Like you also have to find like your gang, you know, like the people
You
that
do.
are comfortable with you being the way you are. And I feel like that's something that, you know, Immortal does extremely well. They just the community side. I feel like the game in that sense, I believe that always did a very good job in their games. So I was very surprised how good it is, and definitely if it was not for the people, I'll probably even I'll definitely like
Yeah.
if it was not for the one fucking crusader that I met, I would not be even at the end game, right? So after that, you know, I just start enjoying more and more the game. And like for example, your friend, you know, he has a friend already inside the game, so that is more likely that is gonna stick to the game than someone
Yeah.
that's just installed the game, has no one, and doesn't enjoy. So that's something that I feel like this game does very well, and I wish that other games could bring a bit more like the social aspect, because like, how do you feel like, for example, whenever you're playing, like, did you ever play Path of Exile, or you already played Diablo 4, for example, right? How do you
I
feel on
played
those games?
D4. I played the Path of Exile 1, not to a high level, but I did play it. And I do agree, like the community side, especially in D4, and even somewhat D3, but I know D3 had a lot more like communities and stuff, so it was a bit easier to kind of get contacts in the game. But I think if you compare Diablo 4 to Diablo Immortal, the community side of it is, yeah, you can't even compare it really.
Yeah.
There's just no comparison. The war bands, for instance, I've been with the same war band. Well, not we've moved around. We've come from the server I was on to this server, and we all come at the same time, and we've stuck together. For about 2.5 years. And you have that group of people, like you just said, and that's what makes the game. You log on to enjoy the game with them people and have a laugh with them people. And the same with the clan, I suppose. You do have little kind of cliques in the clan, certain people that will play only with other certain people. And I think that's kind of what the game should be. And I think you're right when you say if it wasn't for them connections, most people would just go and play someone else.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm a bit sad in this game, because I used to have like this very fucking cool guy that I used to play. And he was injured. He was recovering for like some surgery or something. So he was at home for like a couple of months. He couldn't walk and all these things. And then once he recovered, he's like, okay, I'm going back to work. And I'm like, oh man. And then after
Yep.
like 2-3 weeks, he started logging in less and less and less. And one day he was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop playing. And I feel like since then, this was like probably like 6 months ago, I never like really found like people. And also then I started creating content. I started playing like slightly less, because like it just comes like with the editing, all these things, like research, like
Yeah.
you start playing the game in a different way whenever you start creating content. Like you see things in a different way, you do all the activities, like well, people are like, oh, why are you saving all those crests, why you have like so many terror answers, like what, like, because I save those things because I never know if I'm gonna need them for the future, like for a piece of content, right?
Do you find they become more meaningful?
Sorry, what did you ask?
Do you find that they become more meaningful? Them certain things that you're saving to do content for, where before creating content, you maybe would have just gone, you know what, I'll just do this or I'll just do that. But now
Oh,
you actually go,
I
right,
will. I was never a hoarder. Like I mid max my progression, so there's no way I'm gonna wait. Like I will still
yeah.
like maintain like my 10 crests for the miracle, but the rest I will just like spend it all the time.
Man, how do
Um.
you ever save 100 crests? I could
Uh.
never save 100 crests.
uh it's a lot of mental fortitude. Every day you're just like. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like you put a goal, right? Like my goal was like on Christmas I want to do this stream. This was like from September I had this idea. Like September I had this idea. So you just like put these goals, right? Like you think about like a cool idea, and it was one of my best streams. That it was so fun, like and it's like but it just takes a lot of time. So for example, if when Echo or 𝙀𝙑𝙋𝘼𝙉 does, like 𝙀𝙑𝙃 did like fucking 1,000 crests, like it's impressive, like, but I don't have, but like I feel like my 100, this is like they are they are free to play, they take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to also show that if you're like patient and if you grind and all these things, you can also get like a bunch of crests. So that was like the challenge. I was thinking about like making another one maybe whenever we hit like 10,000 subscribers. I think like it's like you're saying, it's I never thought like that way, but you were actually touching in a very nice topic. Like the things become more meaningful, right? Because like I have an extra goal. So like I've been receiving like 3 or 4 comments like, why do you save like so much platinum? I have like 180 platinum, 1,000,
Yeah.
180,000. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, I'm saving because I don't really want I could just blow it in like buy like 3+ 𝙀𝙃𝙉𝙋, but my content creator's brain is like, okay, imagine like the new 5-star gem, it is really OP.
Yep.
So I think like in the long term, and these are like the small changes that you start doing as a creator and all these things.
Question for you, and I bet a lot of people wonder this as well, and I always wonder this.
No,
As a
I'm
free
not
to
gay.
play,
I'm not gay.
no, I wasn't going to ask that. As a free to play, and I struggle with this as well. How do you make that much platinum? What do you sell?
So basically you sell everything that is not the normal gems. And
Yeah.
I sell my pets. I sell usually all my pets. I sell all my legendary gems. And I sell runes. I got lucky with the runes. Whenever like the
Someone just said in your chat,
s-
sell an
s-
arm and a leg.
yeah. I sell. I only have one kidney because the other one was like for 100k plat. So you just like and you have to be patient. I'm not like I'm not a plat farmer. I don't have alts. I don't have all these things, and also I'm not like very smart when it comes to the action house. Sometimes I have that item and I'm like, I'm not gonna sell this for less than this, no matter what. And sometimes like the item is there like for like 4 or 5 weeks, and eventually it sells. Like I had like these gloom casks. I was like, I'm not gonna sell these for like less than 48,000, and the rest was like for like 3 or 4 weeks was like in like still there. Like I'm not gonna push it, man. It's just like I'd rather be patient. Again, free to play, it's a game of extreme patience, and you gotta also be lucky with the drops, on your
Yeah.
unbound. I have like, for example, I still have with me like the 4-star Void Spark. I feel like the 4-star Void Spark is extremely hard to sell because it's not. It's like the middle. I feel like 4 stars nobody wants.
I'd
You, you
agree.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, or you're like a free to play low spender and you get like 3 out of 5 to just get like a small bump, and you pay like 10 or 20 extra plat, and you get like that star. Or you're a big whale and you don't care about the 4-star and you just want a 5 out of 5, right? So that's how I feel like it is extremely harder. I was like super excited. I was like, bro, I'm gonna make a bunch of fucking platinum with these, and I was like stoked, bro. I can sell that. I can, but I will have to sell it for like super cheap. And
Yeah.
at that point, I'm like, like what you
What's
said
the
with the
point?
runes, that at a certain point it doesn't feel like you really want to sell them because like it's gonna be so cheap. Like I'll bet it's just like put the void spark on me, you know.
Yeah.
And
It does seem, like you say, it does seem kind of pointless to put it up and sell it for less when you might as well just eventually maybe use it for yourself. You'd never use it for food.
yeah, never use for food, right? Like but definitely I will try to. I'm trying to sell it for like 200 plat, 200,000.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take a while. Like people, the problem like also with the action house is that you have people that don't care, and you have like the farmers, right? And that's like, I think is a major issue because the farmers, like these Susan farmers and all these things, they want to just the inventory. They don't want to have inventory. Like they don't want to have gems. They don't want to have anything on their bags. They just want like to put on the as lowest price as possible and to sell fast.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
the more they are holding on these like legendary gems, they are not making money. Like we're talking about real life money. So for them, it is a benefit that even if they sell like 10,000 plat less, it doesn't matter for them. They are still getting the plat. So it's all about the speed. So whenever you're facing like on the action house these people, they will always lowball you, and it gets like very hard for like the normal player to also have a chance to sell anything.
Yeah. I just had to be more kind of. I hoard stuff. I'm a hoarder. I got so many gems that I could potentially sell, and I'm just like, well, maybe I'd use that to upgrade my gems that are in my legendary gems when I use the gem resonance. But maybe I just have
Oh,
to
so you don't
start hoarding
sell
stuff.
your
I haven't
unbound?
sold. No, I haven't sold stuff for a long time.
Oh,
I'm
not
just a I'm just a hoarder.
so you have like a bunch of like legendary gems with you
Oh,
that.
for sure that I could just sell. Yeah.
Oh, nah.
And I'm like, I get to the point where it's like, what if I need that to upgrade that gem? And do I need that particular one to go inside that gem to activate the extra kind of abilities, the extra bonuses from being inside the
Oh,
gem
but like
resonance?
this, I feel like you're playing a very okay. Here's how I see. If you sold, you have plat, and then you can just dictate where you're gonna invest your things.
Yeah.
So that's. But maybe I think I start to feeling you because I am at a point that I have like all that plat, and I don't really feel the need to buy anything. Maybe you are also at that point that like you have your character, you have these things, and it's like, okay, do I really need to have the extra plat, or that I can just lay down here like these gems? Personally,
I
I'll
think I
probably.
think I don't know if you find this, and I think that's probably just from my point of view, but I'm at that level now where I'm to the point where 4K is probably going to be my limit for resonance. I don't think I'll be able to
Mhm.
push any more without putting a lot of money into the game. And I think now that them little bits that I could upgrade inside them gems to get them extra abilities are probably kind of going to benefit me more because they are quite good, like extra skill damage, extra things like that, extra defense.
Yeah.
The only thing I could really buy now would be normal gems.
How much is your secondaries?
I'm around about kind of 5,000 potency, 5,000 armor pen.
You
So
don't.
4,000.
It's you only play with one character, right? Like you don't have
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Fist bump. No. So you are. So it means like in more 2 years I'll be like around 5,000. uh, yeah,
I
it's
think
like.
I'm just at that wall with residents. So the only thing I can really do now is increase my secondaries, and I think selling the gems that I've been holding onto is probably going to be the potential way of doing that. And I should kind of start doing that.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like you are on in the next level, right? And I will say that in general, like you always want to like level up more or less like your resonance and getting like your secondary slightly above. And a lot of people say like, oh no, you should go like all in on secondaries, and that's fine. But like, do you have all your sets is like 5 stars, right? Like you have like all your gems
My
are 5 stars,
my
right?
my 5-star gems are all 4 out of 5. I think I've got 1 5 out of 5, which is my Bloodsoaked Jade.
Okay, no, but I was asking like you don't have like 1 or 2 stars
Oh,
nowadays.
I use a lot of 2 stars.
Okay, which ones?
In my raid build, I use Entropic Well, which is a 1 star. So, some of the 1s and 2 stars are actually really good when it comes to doing max damage in PvE.
Yeah, the misery elixir, the broken one.
Yeah. You know,
Mm.
so I do tend to I normally have a 3 or 4 5 stars on, and then the rest of them will be, you know, 2 stars.
Yeah,
Unless it's my raid build, I still use Berserker's Eye as well. So.
I guess like if you're not like a heavy PvP player, there's really not a lot of incentive for you to actually spend in a lot of like the secondaries, because like you're probably already capped on PV when it comes to the secondaries. Maybe you could get like, because like the secondaries, you probably there is that cap. So an armor pen is like
Yeah, yeah.
the 57% armor pen that you
Yeah.
get, critical hit damage. So maybe you're not gonna need very 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 soon. It's just
Not
like
for PvE, definitely not for PvE.
yeah. So I think like probably you could try to pump it up, but here's my thing: it is not exciting at all to buy normal gems.
It's not. I agree.
It's not, man. Like
But the trouble is with normal gems, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've gone in there and I've brought like 300 normal gems, 400 normal gems, and then you go and use them, and it's like one craft, and it's like, they're all gone.
nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think personally, I don't think I'll ever. So first, like my goal, it is to get like these really like like as a free to play, I would love to have like my full 5 stars. This is gonna take fucking years, man. I know, but that's the goal. For that, I know that my secondaries won't be as good, But it's fine, man. By then, probably I'm not gonna even be fucking playing the game, or I'll be dead or something like that. Holy shit. Yeah, no. I feel like the way I see is like I look at my character as it is, and I look at my content, right? And I start realizing that I am at a point. So whenever I started to create content, my account was very relatable, like extremely relatable. I was like around like 600 resonance. Yeah, my gear was like rank 30 in these things, but like I was like very low resonance and very low on secondaries. It was around like 3000. As I go, I feel like I'm gonna start becoming less and less and less relatable to like the new players or the new player
Yep.
experience. And I'm already feeling, bro, like I'm getting like to a point that I feel like my character like extremely strong, you know, like not like way level, but like compared to what it was, like I managed to tweak everything in a way that's like I'm doing like 10x damage that I was like 3 months or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think you're
so
right when it says you don't become relatable anymore, and I think that's what I did with some of my guides. And some I think it was in one of my raid ones that I did. I actually taken out some of my normal gems and actually just went in with complete like 2s and 1 stars, with no kind of gems in my gems to make them kind of both boosted up. So I was at like 1300, 1200 resonance with like
mhm,
2k armor pen, 2k potency, and still went and successfully did and used the build.
yeah.
And I think that comparison kind of makes it a bit easier for people to see that you can still play the game with that kind of low stats at Inferno 4, Inferno 5.
Yeah.
Just depends on what build you use and a lot of the time and how you play.
Yeah, I think like relatability it is important, especially for the audience that you're trying to cater. Like, so I'm starting to see that there is actually an interesting counterpoint that some people said that was like, you know what, Inez, like I follow you for a while, and it's nice to see how far free to play can go. So, and I never thought in that way, you know, like the potential that there is. But I think like there's only 4 people that already follow me for a while, you know,
Yeah.
not really for people that you know are watching my guide like right now and they just started like last week, you know. So yeah, it's always a give and taken. I've been thinking about maybe like doing like starting a new class or something like that, a new character, but I'm not gonna farm for plat or not. It was just gonna be like for content, like but then it's like the time investment, man.
A lot of time.
It is a lot of time. Like people don't understand, like to get a character like mine at this level it's fucking took me like, bro, I don't know, like I'm so glad they doesn't have a slash lifetime or slash time like in WoW, because it'll be
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, it'll be crazy.
I was a
um
WoW player back in the day.
what you play, Warlock?
No, I played to start with, you laugh. I think I played when I first started playing WoW, I was a warlock for a long time. And then I started playing Druid tank and I loved it. And I think from that point onwards I was a tank. I played Paladin tank, Blood Knight tank, Druid tank, you name it, I played
uh
it. And ran my own guild with my brothers. We did, mythic raids and it was great.
oh, you
Did that
did
for a
a
number of yeah, did that for a
when
number.
did you started playing?
When did I start playing? I started playing right at the very end of Lich King.
Oh, so when I quit.
And
Yeah.
I went right through until when did I stop? Must have been Warlords of Draenor, maybe the end of that, I think it was.
People say that was quite bad that expansion,
Yeah, I think
but
that was when I really last played it.
yeah, but the Legion was so like for me, I stopped in Wrath of Lich King. Then a friend of mine, like he said, bro, you have to come back to the game. All these things, you know, all these fucking WoW players that you play that they always like trying to suck you in
Yep.
back to the game. They are
I
always
get it all
trying
the
to
time.
all
Every
the time.
expansion,
Yo,
every single expansion that comes out, my brother
yeah.
says, I've been playing it again. You should come and play. And I'm like, no,
Yeah, it's
I
fun,
don't.
it's this, it's that. No. Yeah. So one time I considered it was in I think it was actually in Wars of Draenor. Is that the name?
Yeah.
WOD. So I level up a gnome warrior because I always wanted to be a gnome warrior. I get to level 100, which was 100, I think, or
It
yeah,
was. I think it was then.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
100, right? Like I was in this
yeah.
dinosaur zone or whatever, and then one day I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm done, and I never logged in. I couldn't. It's just like the game just changed like in a way that I didn't like it anymore. But then like once a WoW player, you're always a WoW player. So I came back in the BFA Battle of Azeroth. I played for like 3 months during COVID. And I made like because I really wanted to try the Demon Hunter. Not the Demon Hunter in Diablo that you guys know, like the Demon Hunter, like
No,
with
the
the
proper
war
demon hunter.
glaives.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the real one. And yeah, that was fun. I played for like 3 weeks. Why I did not stay, even though I was a guild, is like, bro, imagine playing a game that used to be famous for socializing, and I made zero friends. I like zero friends. So I had like these two guys that sometimes like we team up, but it was like okay, invite, do the dungeon, leave. Like no
Yep.
typing, nothing. So I felt like it's like you do random dungeon, you appear inside the dungeon, like so like the whole game it was more stimulating because you have like the world quest, and then you have like these mythic keys, and then you have like the raids and the so there was like more things to do. I was even farming achievements, man. I'm not achievement. I was farming mounts and all these transmog, and like, but I don't know why, because I was just like I was just getting upset by that. And I realized that at the end, like I was getting like farming these mounts and things. First because I used to watch 𝙀𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿, but the second one it was because it was something that I could just waste my time on.
Yes.
And once I realized it was a waste of time, I just stopped playing. That's it's just
Why
like
do the same thing every day? The repeatable world quests, and yeah, I agree. It become a bore.
yeah,
I used to watch Asmongold all the time though, on the side playing WoW. Asmongold up when he used to do
that's
these transmog contests. Oh, they
oh
were the best.
those were the fucking like I still watch like Asmongold here and there. I feel like these now I see Asmongold as an arc, you know, like anime arcs, you know, like there are.
Yeah, yeah.
But now it's like in these politician arcs. I don't watch a lot. But I kind of enjoy his content, but I feel like it was absolutely peak, especially because it was very relatable for WoW players. It was very fun, like all these transmog competitions, and like I get a lot of inspiration for a few ideas, like from the version of when they played WoW. But WoW, World of Warcraft, it allowed you to actually build up like this community side, and if there's something, bro, I even did like back then, like a few years back, like some community events, like in these roadblocks game. You know what the roadblocks is?
Yep.
Many years ago. Okay, I used to make like this competition, and it's because people can just log in into the same server, and then you have like 100 people, you know. And Diablo Immortal, when it comes to creating content, it is extremely challenging. There is like you want to pull up events or even just like to play with the chat. I don't know, just duels, you know. But if you're not from the same server, if you're not from the same region, like there's always so much struggles that comes with it. That it is definitely you're gonna find out, like, because like I am at the stage that I feel like I made a guide for everything, and now what, you know? So I'm always like trying to stay, which leads like sometimes to frustration, like yesterday's stream, right? That's, man, I fucking want to do this content and I can't because of this shitty game doesn't allow me. And sometimes like it's absolutely projection. Okay, I'm projecting like my creative feelings into the game, but I'm sure like you also gonna reach there, because like everyone in the partners program understands like this frustration, and it's because some things just takes time to reach there. Because I'm like, oh, so that's why that guy used to say these. Oh, because like when you're like the new kid in the block and it is a buff. First of all, it is a buff. It's the buff that now came from you from me to you. Okay,
Yep.
and it's like the energy and like everything is like very new, and it's like there's like this extra pump, like, and once you feel like you did all the checks, then you start like struggling to be able to output the content that you really want, because you also want to get better, you want to keep pushing your content further. Whatever you did, like, like I look at my content 3 months ago and I'm like, yeah, that was a good piece of content, but I think now I could make it better. Like, I'm not as proud, and I feel like that's
Yeah, yeah.
growth. That's growth.
Hundred
So
percent. But I know exactly what you mean. You get to the point where there's only so much content you can make, and you have to think out of the box.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where, like, if the game will help us, like, with the community, it's not easy to make a community in this game. I realized there is a few downsides that I see. First is mobile game, and it's not like trash talking the mobile game. I'm saying like the cycle of a game of a player usually is lower than other games.
Yeah.
Players get into the game very hard. They will watch all your guides, but maybe in 2 or 3 weeks they'll stop playing. This happens quite often. I can see, like, from my chat, right? Like the cadence of like people coming and going, it is very hard, is very fast, and only like a few percentage actually they stay through all the stage. So I feel like in that sense, there's definitely things that can be improved.
Yeah, definitely.
So this was a great talk, man. I feel like I could be speaking here for hours, but
Oh, we totally could.
it was good to know that you were a WoW Andy. I just took us out of the WoW zone, because like I can absolutely, I don't know about you, but I'm when I start speaking about WoW, it's like something that I never found a game that replicates that. I never did.
Never.
It was very, very special.
Yeah.
And I don't think like we should, like, I see like this World of Warcraft classics, and it's kind of interesting, like the nostalgia and being playing and blah blah. But I'm someone that I don't look a lot to the past. I look to the future, and that's why I'm playing these. I'm gonna probably try other games like in the future, in the hope that we can find something. I would like to find a game that will have the same community aspect as the Diablo, because like this game, I used to speak with that friend of mine that quit the game. I was like, bro, like this feels like fucking World of Warcraft back then. The fact that you have like your warband and like your guild and all these things, like it's very, very similar.
It is.
So the Blizzard, they know how to do this, and I feel like that's my kind of game. I really, really like that the community side. So I wish that I could play a game like that, but that will not have the pay to win aspect, and I could just
Can you
enjoy.
imagine what this game? Can you imagine what this game would have been like without pay to win?
Yeah, I can, absolutely, I can. I feel like we could easily be talking about a game that will have like 5-6 million players even after 3 years.
100%, yeah.
Like
And it's a
that,
shame.
definitely.
It's a shame it started the way it did.
Yeah. And it will never recover. Like, people don't like to change their minds. Once a shitty
No.
game, they always think it's a shitty game.
Yep.
They will not give really another chance. It's very rare. Like, if you are someone that you played like in the first months and then you stopped and you come back, you're like the 0.1% of players. Like, most people like move forward, and they just go to the next game. It is a shame. I feel like this game has like so much potential, but we cannot live in a copium phase all the time, like hoping that this game is gonna like get like so much better in all these things. I feel like this game, I always say, like you already, it's gonna be what it is. If you don't like the game as it is
It's a
right now,
dying game. We all know that.
yeah,
It's got a beginning and it definitely has an end. However long that end's gonna take, it's definitely gonna get there.
yeah. I think it's gonna be like a slow death. you know.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
like it is a very powerful company, can hold this for a very long time. And you can see like, okay, they are like, did you ever played any other mobile game before this one?
Not really.
Okay.
I did play things like, Pokemon Go.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
not a video game. No, that's like it's a
but
bit. Yeah, I know. It's very fun. It was very fun. I love that
very
fucking.
fun, and
Oh,
the
so
community
good.
around that in real life was amazing.
That was super
Um,
good.
yeah.
My
But not I've not played a mobile game that's had the draw that Diablo Immortal has.
Yeah. So just a funny story. Once with my ex, I made her walk like 14 kilometers touring the city because I was catching Pokemons. She was fucking pissed, boys. But I was like, you know what? Okay, so there's a Snorlax over there.
It's such a good game. The
Yeah.
downside to Pokemon Go, right, is that COVID happened and absolutely destroyed everything.
Yeah, it made things like very very hard. I just think like it was such a big innovation, and seeing all these fucking gamers and like going outside catching some sun on the faces, and it was so nice.
Yeah.
It had like so much potential, but then like the game didn't had all the features, so then people ran out of content, then COVID came and blah blah blah. But I still have like a few friends that they still play.
I've
You know,
still got some friends that still play in the town that I'm in, and the community is still. It's not as big as what it was, but it still goes strong. They still
yeah,
log in every day, go to do different raids and all of that they do. It's good.
it's a good thing. Okay, it's Pokemon, right? And no matter what, we'll always have new players joining in the same way as
Yep.
Diablo. Diablo is a very strong IP. We'll always have players joining in. That's why I say like the problem of Diablo is not like them joining, it's like them staying.
Same.
That's yeah, it's just the staying. The staying is like the thing that they have to fix it. They and so I asked you like if you ever played other video games, mobile video games, because when it comes to this slow death, there are a few hints that I already play like multiple games that they end up like dying out. Usually I leave like probably like 1 year before, because like, okay, I don't know where's this gonna, like it's gonna close like soon or whatever. So it's whenever you see that maybe they are not putting like, they are automating stuff. Okay, they are making the game easier to log in.
Yep.
Okay, so we are seeing like automation and all these things. So they are trying to make always like the game easier and easier and easier, to just letting do things quicker, to just keep you logging in. Because like, if you think you have an addiction to this game, if you don't log in for 3-4 days, I promise you, you're out of this game. Like any video game, like in general, like if you don't play for a few weeks, like you get out of like that treadmill and you're probably gonna forget it. The other thing, it was like seeing bots, man, bro. The bots is for me, it was like one of the signs that I saw, because I used to play like this game that you used to do raids, and you had to needed like 4 or 5 people to do the raids, to do, like to kill the dragon, blah blah. And then all of a sudden they are putting bots. So for that, afterwards, like after 1 year, the game shut down, and they just add bots because there's not enough players.
Play base. Yeah.
There's not enough players to fill up the queues and all these things. And I think it's sad that like they put it in a way that, oh, it is like to help like the new player and all these things, but I don't really think so. And and it's just like such a shame, because like this game is I feel like this game, when it comes to the mobile game, it is actually like, if we're talking about like the combat, the builds, like the way it feels whenever you're playing, it's good, man. It is good. It is a good game.
It's always been smooth. You do get the odd bits of lag here and there, but you can't complain. The combat is a very smooth combat in the game.
Yeah.
Whether that is played on PC, which has got a number of little issues compared to mobile, but I sometimes sit on my mobile phone and I'll do raids on my mobile phone if I'm with the warband and I'm watching TV,
Yeah.
and it's just so smooth.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't you can't you
super
can't really
smooth.
match it. It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
bear
is
in
way
mind,
better.
I've got an iPhone 16 Pro Max, so yeah,
Mhm.
top of the range.
Okay,
But on
flex.
here, on here it is really, really, really smooth, and I don't know what it's like on other ones because I've not tried it.
Yeah.
But I know the download now for it is absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's I feel like whenever you play on the PC, you're playing like a downgrade version because every time I play on the tablet, it is very very smooth.
Yeah,
It's definitely optimized for mobile first, 100%. And that was
yeah,
like one of the things that surprised me the most. I thought that the game was gonna be junky, clunky, like mobile style, but in reality, we have like man, we had the games that like Diablo Immortal came a few years after Genshin Impact, but the Genshin Impact was the game that it showed everyone that you can actually make like a super cool game, with a really good combat, really good action, cool story. You may not like the anime, but it doesn't matter. Like it completely broke what people thought it was a mobile game. People
yeah,
always saw mobile games as like those weird, like I know Heroes Collector, that you have like those weird menus and all these things, and all of a sudden you're playing with the dude, man, like you like you're playing a PlayStation game, and you're playing on your
yeah,
phone. So that was like very game breaking, and I think like now we have like this new era that we have Diablo because of that. We have many other games of this genre, and it is surprising. I think it is the evolution, definitely the evolution of these mobile games, because if you go like 5 years before, it's like everything was about like these small like
yeah. It
NPCs,
was
and was not like
more like the kind of I suppose going back to Blizzard stuff would be Hearthstone.
yeah, exactly, like something more like about tapping, about like
Yeah,
not like a lot of like I used to play a lot of Heroes Collector that is like, hey, I'm gonna put my characters here, and then they go to battle, and then
yeah,
you try to kill the boss with it, like you're not like moving, you're not dashing, you're not like doing all these movements. But also I think it was also because of technology just kept evolving, like phones, right? Like you're saying, like you have the 16 Pro or whatever, like there's a fucking machine, man. Like
yeah.
people, they don't like the majority of the people, they don't even spend like 1% of like the power of it, because they are like mainly on WhatsApp or like scrolling and and they are buying like these $1,000 phones, and it's crazy. But like obviously if you enjoy gaming and if you're like gonna push for it, you can feel it. And
Definitely.
so in regarding like the mobile, I am someone, I'm kind of like a lot of like PC gamers, they are like completely against like mobile gaming, and they are like the mobile gamers only, and I'm like the middle. I still be able to, I can see like both sides. Yeah, this is good for these things, this is good for another thing. I think like mobile games, they definitely have a long way to go regarding monetization. I think that the monetization is the only thing that is hunting these games, but they are making like so much money that it's like instead of like monetization going away, it's like infesting like the PC, the PC games, like it's infesting like the
Yeah,
console games, like it's infesting everything, because like
everything.
corporations, they don't give a fuck about us, man. Like they give a
Of
fuck
course not.
about money, and that's it.
We're just credit cards to them.
Yeah, yeah, you just
Yeah,
keep
exactly
swiping.
that. Yeah. But you're right,
And
it is incorporating in most games now, whether that be phones, consoles, or PC, because everything now has a battle pass.
yeah,
And
it,
that's really where it started, isn't it? Battle pass were the ones that come around, really making monetization things in not just mobile, but in, console and on PC. And then now it's just gone that one step further where the likes of Diablo Immortal is like at the extreme, where people have spent, half a million, dollars on a game. And
that's
that's
that's why.
crazy amounts of money. It's crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
I don't know what other mobile games are like when it comes to people spending money on that kind of level. No doubt it happens, but
Oh,
it
they
can't
go
happen.
crazy. They go like
It's
so
just mad.
like if you're like I can understand people spending like a lot of money in Diablo Immortal because it makes sense. You know, you get stronger, you're gonna smash people. Okay, simple
Is
math.
that mindset though? That's your mindset telling you the sort of person you are that wants to keep min maxing your character. And if the way to do that is spending money, which a lot of people would see that as min maxing,
I mean, I guess so. Like, I feel like if you're that type of whale, it's not like made maxing. It's more like maxing.
it's just maxing.
It's just maxing. Yeah, you take the min. It's just like maxing. Okay.
Here's my card. Max that. Done.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like if you're a whale, but what I'm saying is like I can understand like the transaction, you know, because it's a PvP game, you can clearly get an advantage over it. But bro, Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, these other games, even like I mean, especially like these anime games, okay? They are like they make like these crazy characters looking good, all these things. And people like there's like bunch of accounts is like 1 million, like 800,000, 500,000, because like they want to mid max all the characters at like C6, which is like imagine like rank 10, you know, rank 10 on gyms. And it's a PvE game. It's like the same as I can tell you, bro, I can clear already the Diablo PvE game, but you have a maxed out account and you can just clear it in one hit. Imagine that. So
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like it's just like I feel, and we have like Fexus is like a big whale. I feel like the way like these massive whales play the game, it is very different. They don't see the game as we do, and they don't see, like they just absolutely play like the monetary game and the maxing, and they get a lot, I feel like they get a lot of pleasure like from maxing the account and then like being very strong in PvP and like smashing everyone. I am just assuming, you know, because like it is a world
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a world I try to have a lot of empathy to try to understand how it is and how can someone spend like that amount of money. And I just feel like because like we all like if you like achievements or like if you're a completionist, do you say it's like that?
Completionist. Yeah.
Completionist, like some people are. I am too. I used to play like the games and I like to have like everything at 100%, and so it gets like very addicting. And some people just like to do that. They like to have like all the character, or they have like the maxed out accounts, and if they have the means, I mean, like
who's to stop them? I agree.
yeah,
100%.
it's like I'm not gonna judge them. I feel like people should not judge them. And all I hope, man, is like someone one day comes here on a fucking stream and it's like bang, you know.
There's your new PC.
Yeah, it's a new PC, man. Like, you know, no, but you know, like jokes aside, that's what I think it is. You know, it's like the whales, they play a very different game. They are also probably like in a very like different life status and lifestyle than the you know, the casual gamer. And yeah, just see things differently. You know, they probably value a lot their time more than we do, because it's like very, you know, squished, and it's just different, you know. Effects thing, I'm only 10k resonance. There's a tons of people on my server 11 or 12. I am small compared. Yeah, so I mean that's always perception, right? Like, and that's why I feel like I was saying that if you are always like on this comparison game, you always gonna lose, right? Because there's always gonna be someone's gonna spend more than you. There's always gonna be someone, even if you spend the same money, probably is gonna be better than you. And like you just can try it like to chase it. It's just like it's like the carrots like in front of you, you know, and you're trying to chase it, but
always trying to chase it.
Yeah, you're never gonna catch it. And but as long as it like it makes you like enjoy the game and like
100%. Yeah, I agree. If you're enjoying the game, no matter how much you spend, and that's the main thing that you're looking out for, isn't it? A game's there to be enjoyed. It doesn't matter how much you spent. I will never judge whales just like yourself, and I think The only kind of, I think, suppose people would see it as being judgmental. It would be that we're going, it's mad that they spend all that money. That's being judgmental. But I don't see. I'm not doing it in that way. I do it in a way to just think that's just mind-boggling amount of money.
Yeah, but probably they worked for it, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. They
But like you
have
said,
it.
it is a perception, isn't it? Because 50 euros to someone else could be hardly anything, but to someone else it can be a lot of money. So it is all perception.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's important. So I am a designer, right? And a lot of part of my job is like the UX design. It is like to try to see things from others people's eyes and have some empathy and try to see the world as they see. So I can imagine how they gonna use like the websites in or the apps and all these things,
Yeah.
because every user has their own style. So this kind of helps me to try to figure it out and to try to come like to terms like what is like, oh, I understand what you guys are saying from like free to play and all these things, and I also try to understand like what the whales are saying. Obviously it's way easier for me to relate to the free to plays because my bank account doesn't have like millions. you know
No.
Maybe one day,
You never know.
you
Never say
never know.
never.
Yeah, but we can all hope for it. But yeah, I feel like a lot, like what I don't like it is the resentment, like, or the way when people like because I understand, man, like a lot of people have money problems and they struggle a lot, and like the priority of their lives is just like putting food on the table, and I fucking fully understand that, like how can be like very consuming into your life, and then you just project a lot of like those emotions that you have. That's like, how can someone spend so much money in this game, whenever I cannot, it's just like it is a complete projection. And I don't think that's gonna stop, but it's never about like the person itself, it's not about the whale.
No.
It is
No.
it is always like you see, like even like in YouTube comments, Instagram, like when the girls like go there like to fat shame some girl or whatever, like most of the times are just like projecting their own sadness on the internet. Like it's kind of rough, man. Like I usually try to send love back to it, because I feel like sometimes I read like some, like I have a dude, man, like he keeps following my channel, man, like every video I get a dislike, and I know it's him, and like, and it's like I like in one side I think what an absolute loser, but the other side I think like, man, this guy must be like extremely sad, man. Like, it's like what makes you hate.
He's just got he's got to the point now though where he's just like, I have to dislike. I can't not like. I have to dislike no matter what. It's a really good video, but dislike.
Yeah. No, but he comments and these things, I even didn't, but it's just like, I think when I see that, I feel like, man, this guy just needs a bit of love, whatever is projecting into me. Like, I don't even know him. That's how crazy.
No.
I never interacted with him. It's just like how crazy it is, like, so man, I hope that you know what, if you ever have one of these, I'm sure they are coming. Okay, you will see. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about.
My time will come. My time will come. I like what was just said in the chat.
𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝘉, no, it's not you, man. It's not you. It's not you. I'm not gonna say the name, but it's not you. You're not banned here, so.
Why did you call me out?
No, it's like we're talking about absolutely madness. But anyways, yo, Lawrence, we gotta finish this, man. Really good conversation. I hope to have you back, man. Like, if you want, I know you're a busy guy, but if you want to come out here, like sometimes, as I do, like with Echo, and sometimes just pop like for like 30 minutes or something, you want to speak about something about the game or anything, you always got an open invite. You want to say something to those that are still here? Holy shit, like there are still people here. Holy fuck, thank you guys so much.
Here, even though we was rambling, just talking about random stuff.
Yeah,
thanks for having me. I just want to really say kind of, thanks to the community, the people that have kind of supported me just by going to the channel and liking and subscribing my videos. I didn't expect the growth that I've had over the past, 4 or 5 months. And it's just been a great journey. Yeah, and that's really all I've got to say on that note.
Yeah, but bro, yeah, I gotta say you're doing a tremendous job. I think as long as you keep following the path, you know what you're doing. If you ever need anything, like just drop me a message, or if you wanna, chat about YouTube or whatever it is. And I loved it, man. It was like very nice to ramble about like random things. And I feel like also people enjoy at the end of the day, like to know a bit more about like
Agreed.
different topics. Not only I like to start like with Diablo Immortal, and then I like to segue into
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
goes, whatever it goes. I think that's fun. So with this, I want to say thanks once again to Laureth. I want to say thanks to everyone that is here in the chat. I want to also give a shout out to Miles. I don't know if he's still here, but he actually a new member. Mid Spender. What the fuck is Mid Spender? I don't know. Like he just spent more money than the other guys. Awesome. Nice. Thank you so much, brother. W stream 100%. Thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna cut you off right now. So with this, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. And I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.